such a
having
fabulous
I didn't
job.
know what to expect. I know we had a conversation. I've been having so much fun with you. Just yeah,
Oh.
this was a really good time.
Ah, what's going on, y'all? It's Oliver Twixt here, your nerd boy cutie reporting for duty to do the Lord's work once again! Before we begin, a couple of classroom rules. First of all, make sure you're following me, Oliver Twixt, on everything. He is Oliver Twixt. That's Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, and especially YouTube. Stop what you're doing and make sure you are subscribed with the notification bell clicked so you can know when we're going live and posting new content. Head over to the live chat that's going on right now and join in on the conversation with myself as well as my other Twixlers on today's video. And if you're catching this in the replay, get down in the comment section because we're there keeping the conversation going. And please remember to be nice and kind to each other. This is fun commentary that only needs fun conversation with fun people. Don't nobody get in their feelings about this bullshit, okay? Okay, because we got greens to cook. Better get in there and check them ham hocks. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me move out the way because the video was starting now.
Music, I don't care where it's from. You know what? I love good music, so send it to me.
I am so excited, Dominique, to talk to you because you have been one of my personal favorite reality TV personalities from back in the day on Making the Band. And I just remember being a little 9-year-old, 10-year-old boy,
Oh my gosh.
singing in the choir, and I wanted to sound like Dominique, okay? I wanted to sound like Dominique. Yes.
Wow.
I wanted to sound like Dominique because at the time, Making the Band, of course, was a huge deal. It was a huge, huge deal. And you were kind of like that soul singer on the show. We just knew what Dominique saying that the people was gonna get what Diddy said, the chills, the goosebumps. The goosebumps. Yes, yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. What a time.
What a time. And so to share this time with you right now makes me feel so happy. And I'm going to try not to fan out throughout this whole thing because...
Listen, have at it. I want to say how much I appreciate, like, anytime still, you know, back in that time, it was really, really an overwhelming thing to kind of come to grips with how many people were watching that show and, you know, the exposure. But I always have so much gratitude. It's really, it's crazy to be able to have that kind of influence on anybody, especially someone you don't know. So I always say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for watching.
You are so welcome, and you deserve it all. Do people still recognize you as Dominique from Making the Band?
I can't tell you how. And you know, my family would be like, "Okay, girl, stop acting." But really, I'd be shocked every time it happens now because we are getting to 20 years. Like, this was 19 years ago. And so I kind of acted like that back then when there were real fans and like real, you know, people everywhere that kind of recognized me. But nowadays, it'll just be like I was in New Orleans for Essence last summer with my cousin, and there's this guy and his partner sitting right next to our table, and he starts this 21 questions. He's like, "Excuse me, you know, like, do you sing?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Have you ever been on reality TV?" He like starts going, and my cousin is like, "Okay, baby, yes, she was on Making the Band," you know. And he was the sweetest guy, and we ended up in this great conversation. And he works in the industry and all this stuff. But that's how the moments happen, and it's always. I just always feel a ton of gratitude for people who like are like, "You were that girl, you inspired me, I was rooting for you." Like that's just a blessing. It's a blessing to have people 19 years later being like, "Dominique and Deborah Cox." Like, thank you.
Yes. That Dominique and Deborah Cox moment was iconic. I don't want to jump too ahead of myself, But since you
Okay.
mentioned it, did Deborah ever talk to you about you singing her song?
No, you know what's so interesting? That was a different time than now, right? Like I wonder if that moment happened today with the way social media exists, like that probably would happen. But no, I mean it was a big moment. And then a couple years ago, one of the they have the range did a challenge and reached out to me and said, hey, like people waiting for you to do the challenge. And I did the challenge and it went viral. But no, I've never met the queen of that song. She is tremendously talented. My
Yes.
goodness, my goodness. No, nobody does it like Deborah. Um, but yeah, I'd like to meet her one day.
Deborah Cox can sing the house down.
My goodness. It's crazy. I mean, now that's something I could talk about all day is
Mhm.
the amazing vocalists that have inspired me since I was a little girl.
Who are some of the vocalists who inspired you as a little girl?
Ooh, well, I am, I'm from the projects, I'm from the Bronx, I'm from Highbridge, and so I
Mhm.
am a Mary J. Blige, like top to bottom, New York City.
Uh-huh.
She was my idol from when music was a thing to me. Mary was the person in my
Mhm.
sphere, growing up. Now, vocally, I mean, so many people. Whitney, of course, like you don't have this conversation and not mention Whitney.
Mhm.
Um, I was a Brandy girl. Like I was a, you know, my friends get upset. Like people come to my house, they know the 90s hip hop and R&B is going on. We in the car, it's 90s hip hop and R&B.
Mhm.
I'm at your crib trying to control your music. That is just a time. I'm so grateful to have grown up in the 90s. Truly, I'm an 80s
Mhm.
baby, but having grown up in the 90s, so much amazing music, so much inspiration. So Brandy,
Mhm.
SWV, Escape. I mean, like it was the girls who were hitting the notes and Faith. I mean, Faith's got a set of pipes. Like
Faith has
there,
gotten better with time.
yeah, isn't that something? I mean,
Mhm.
her voice has really aged so beautifully.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, you know who I'm gonna name?
Who?
Lil Mo. Because let me tell you, when I was in high school and that
That's my
super,
girl.
you could not tell me. I don't remember if my grandmother would like not allow me to get the braids with the
Mhm.
blue, but it was that serious that I want everything about how she showed up when she stepped onto the music scene for me represented so much of my own upbringing that I
Mhm.
was just like, oh girl. And she got pipes. I mean, she can really sing.
Lil Mo can sing.
Yes. And it's easy to not know it, especially when you're not a singer. Like if that's
Mhm.
not the thing you're looking for when you're listening to music, there are a lot of really talented people you could overlook based on
Mhm.
whatever kind of music they make. And I cannot not mention I wouldn't say growing up this was a thing, but my favorite and who I think is the most talented vocalist alive on this planet is Jasmine.
Sullivan.
Absolute. What other Jasmine?
Mhm. I'm just making sure. Child, you might even saying Jasmine Guy. I don't know.
Baby, and shout out to Jasmine God, because I don't disrespect the black women,
I
okay?
know that's right.
And
I know that's
shout out to
right.
Jasmine God. But that
Mhm.
Jasmine Sullivan came on the scene and changed my life. I mean,
She can
that
sing
girl,
down.
whew, it's unreal. It's unreal what she can do. So yeah, like I've been singing since I was 2. Music is in my blood, in my bones.
Do you know Ta-Da by Lil Mo?
Oh my gosh, can I I can't believe you just asked me that. I just got too hyped. You and I spoke when we got off the phone. I said to myself, I'm not going to be singing on the video. But let me tell you what happened. Recently, so I don't know what brought it up. Maybe my Spotify did a thing. And right after we spoke, it came and I was like, have to hear. Oh my God.
Can
When
you
I
give me
say that song,
can you give me some,
come
please,
on,
Dominique?
we
Please,
just
no, don't do this to
started.
me. I'm
We
so sorry.
just started. But I don't even have to hear name choice today. One of us will be leaving right now. I ain't gonna say. You say it didn't go out. I know it was a lie. The name said they saw you last night driving by. What's up with this girl. Some supermarket clerk is visiting our house each day when I'm at work. I just can't believe you had the nerve. She gets down there. There'll be no more. Yo,
kisses.
come
You
on,
want to
we
make it
make it
look.
look.
I'm
Come
tired
on.
of your
Cause
I had enough.
had 3 wishes, you seem to close my eyes. Real tired of concentrating like 1, 2, 3, and
Ta-da! Trying to make it
yeah.
disappear. Baby, my
Yo,
favorite part of that song of
oh my
Ta-da is
God.
when she gets to the end.
Oh, I can't even hit those notes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like, no. And that's what I mean when I say you can underestimate someone. If you don't know
Mhm.
music, you listening to a song and you're like, oh, okay, that's cute. That girl sings down. And so, yes.
And if you guys want to know a little caveat about that Ta-da song, if you really want to get into it, listen to the album version because the video version stopped.
Oh, I
But
know. Oh, no. I have the. Oh,
oh,
that album
you
was
have
front to back for
you
me.
have the
Yes.
album version.
I love the Lord. I love the Lord. She came. That was an intro.
Mhm.
Oh, that woman.
Mhm.
Let's just have a second and give Mo her flowers
We gotta give
because
her whole flowers.
she doesn't. She does. Truthfully, she doesn't get them in the way that she should for how talented she is and
First
how
of
much she's
all,
contributed to the culture.
Lil Mo has
Just
contributed
saying.
a lot to the culture, a
Mm-hmm.
lot to the culture. And
Mm-hmm.
for the longest, Lil Mo was the only black girl out here singing R&B for a good little chunk of time. She was
Mm-hmm.
the only one. She held
Uh-huh.
it down for a many of
We had a
years.
moment. We had a moment with her. We
Lil
had a moment.
Mo sounds like she has auto-tune on her voice. And Lil Mo in 2024 still sounds like how she sounded
It's
back in
and it's
2004.
wild. And she's been through some things.
Yeah, she been through
And
some
she
things.
still has that voice. God bless Lil Mo.
Oh,
And
don't even make me cry. I love me
flowers
some
to
Lil
her.
Mo.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love
It's
me
just
some
so
Lil Mo.
crazy that's wild that
Mhm.
song came up because it came on and it was like it took me back to high school. It took me back to the moment. I'm like, oh my God, I ran this song into the ground. If it was a vinyl,
Mhm.
it would have been damaged. It was that. It was that. That's my girl. The album was really,
Uh-huh.
really good. Yeah.
Stuttering, trying
Come
to
on.
explain. Ta-da. Sing Lil Mo.
She
Okay,
did that.
let's keep going back and let's talk about you on Making the Band 3 season 2. Of course,
Yep.
by this time, Making the Band has become a household name. First with Old Town, then Diddy got it.
Old Town.
He
Wow.
made the band. That went, they succeeded, and then he disbanded them. He came back looking for an all-girl group. He ended up not picking anybody to like be in the official group, but then he advanced 3 girls, Malika, Andrea, and Aubrey, and then we
Mm-hmm.
come to Making the Band 3 season 2. By
Come
this
on,
time,
historian. Come
it's
on,
like a
historian. I
oh baby,
like
I was
this.
there. Oh baby, I was there. Oh, I was there. I saw this in real time. Nobody got to tell me.
Okay.
I saw this with my own 2 eyes. So
Okay.
by that time, Making the Band had become a thing. Like everybody knew about it. It was a household name, in my opinion, at that point. Like I
Yep.
was again a child sitting down watching these episodes every week when they came on, saying who's getting sent home. What is Diddy finna have these girls doing? Who was Laurieann finna like cuss out and boom cat up out the room? What made you audition for that show?
Oh my gosh. I told this story 100 times.
101.
So I actually, here we go. I watched a little bit of the band with Sarah, Choppa. That I saw a little bit of that. I guess when the first season of my series happened, that was my freshman year of college, baby, and I was colleging. Okay, I
Yeah, I
was having
love
a
it.
good time.
What school you went
Okay,
to?
I went to the University of Maryland at College Park. Go Terps,
I
Black
love that.
Terps.
I love that.
And so I was really not paying attention. Like I was singing my whole life, enjoying music my whole life. I did Apollo Kids. I did every talent show you could imagine across New York City. But then when I got to college, I was like, okay, this is where I am. This is what I'm doing. My mom calls me. Um, who, you know, my mom is my biggest fan, my biggest cheerleader, especially when it comes to music.
I love
And
that.
she's like, yeah, Diddy's having auditions and you going. And I'm like, Miss Ma'am, what are you talking about? She's like, listen, you know, she explains everything you just explained. He had us, you know, he was trying to make us sing a group. You know, it didn't work out. He got 3 girls, but he said they ain't it, you know, and you are it. My mother is like that person. She's gonna come with the affirmations. And I'm like, Mom, I had just secured an internship, a paid summer internship in California. I was hyped. I'm like, I'm thinking about money, taking care of my family. I'm like, girl, ain't nobody thinking about Diddy. And I also had never imagined being in a girl group. That was not a part, you know, I just have always sang by myself, right? I barely got into the a cappella group in high school because I was singing too loud. Okay. So, you know, so I was just kind of like, Mom, this isn't even really. And she just was like, please just humor me. Like, just go with me to the audition. So when I say, you know, in hindsight, I truly understand how I ended up being the underdog with this story that people gripped, you know, holds on to, because I went in there, baby, not expecting to get past day one. You know, I was just kind of like, okay, let me do this for my mom. She's not going to stop. She's not going to leave me alone. So this is in DC. So I do it. I go with her. There are 1,000 girls, okay, at this audition in DC. 10,000 girls auditioned across the country. And so
Oh,
there were
wow.
1,000 girls at this audition. I go in there. They had I think they had us do Beyonce, Me, Myself, and I, and I can't remember what the other songs were. Do that. You know, they got you doing a dance routine. They come up to me on that first day. They chopped us down from 1,000 to 100. Now I'm gonna keep it real. When they said my name on day one, every single time my name was called to continue on, I was like, "Oh, me? Oh, okay." Like, you know, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I guess we coming back tomorrow." So my mom is on some. All right, you going to New York? Like, this is happening. I'm like, "Okay, Monique, calm down." You know, like the next day there were 100 girls, so they condensed it from 1,000 to 100. We came back the next day, and you know, everybody saw the moment when, you know, Lori pulled me to the side and was like, "Hey, you know, would you be able to lose 10 pounds if we picked you?" And man, I didn't realize at the time how traumatic that stuff would end
Oh,
up being.
wow.
Yeah, you know, being marketed as the fat girl when you weigh 120 pounds is a really wild thing. And we can get into that. But anyway, so, you know, so they said, yes, you're going to the next phase of this thing, you know, go on about your business and we'll call you when it's time for the next phase. Because they still had auditions across the country. So I go to the gym. I'm like trying to get myself together. I'm like, well, now I'm invested a little bit because I can't believe I've made it to this point. So the next step is New York City. And out of 10,000 girls, there were 41 who were brought to New York City to actually audition in front of Diddy. They like put us up in a hotel, start getting us prepped. You know, you got to learn some choreography. Here are the songs you could sing. You know, I don't remember them giving us anything at that time. And then we auditioned in front of Diddy at the Apollo. And I was I was shocked when he stopped everything and he's like, "Oh, you're the one who was like losing the weight. You know, you look good." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I was working hard. I was trying." And my name was the last name called on that stage. You know, and so that's what I mean where I'm like, I was standing up there, and when I got to New York was when the real intimidation started. I got there
Wow.
because I'm like, y'all, I came here from the University of Maryland at College Park. I wasn't in this. You know, when you get there and you're standing next to one of Diddy's background singers who's auditioning, and you're standing next to now I don't want none of the sports fans to judge me because I don't know the name of the teams, maybe the New Orleans Hornets. I don't know. Like, you know, like dancers. You don't look, I don't know the football, basketball. My mom would be ashamed because
I
she's like a
definitely don't know.
sportscaster. Baby, we don't know. But basically, NBA and NFL dancers and cheerleaders, people who are on tour with Justin Timberlake, people like that, you're like, oh, how the hell am I here? That's really what kind of kept going through my mind was like, y'all, Monique told me, my mama told me to come, said she thought I was gonna make it. I didn't believe it, and here I am. But then you're next to these people who have been trying to get to this their entire lives, right? Like who are like, yeah, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do this. And so I was kind of like, yeah, girl, you ain't gonna make it. Like, take your behind back to Maryland, keep your education going. And so I was so shocked. I mean, when he called my name that day, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. That's how I got on the show.
What was it like when you auditioned in front of Laurieann and Doc the first time? When we first see you, you're actually like the first serious audition we see on the show because they do this like montage of like these
Yeah,
comedic moments and then it cuts to you who's singing the Beyonce song, like you said, Me,
yeah.
Myself, and I. What do you remember about singing in front of them that day?
I remember, I mean, I'll be honest. I remember at that time, I don't remember being super nervous and super like the way things got and it became
Mm-hmm.
a competition because I really went into it like, okay, I'm appeasing my mom. This is not really going to be a thing. And so I
Mm-hmm.
feel like the Beyonce song is fun to sing. So I just feel like I got in a groove. I
Mm-hmm.
had on probably I think a pair of leggings and a little spaghetti strap tank top. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
that even speaks to what I mean when I say I didn't have any background preparation of how you show up to these things. I had never had a vocal lesson in my life at
Oh
that point.
wow.
Yeah, like it wasn't a thing. I grew up singing. I grew up in a musical family. My dad sings, my mother sings, like, but there ain't no training. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I went away for high school to boarding school, private school. They had choir, a cappella, and so I definitely got a little bit there because they're
Mm-hmm.
like, you're gonna sing in this choir, you need to know how to blend, you need to know how to, right? So I got a little bit of that, but I never had any professional training. So I was like, babe, I'm gonna give you would I be giving in the shower? Would I be giving in front of the family in the living room when they be like, go on, sing, girl?
I
And
love
so,
that.
and so I gave that. And so I was kind of shocked again when they would interact with me and be like, well, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? At that time, the stakes didn't feel very high. And so I feel like that's where you get your most genuine, just let me just get up here and sing and do what I do and see what these people got to say. And then the further along you get, the more you start to get invested and be like, well, damn, well, now that I'm here, I'm trying to win,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
When you originally auditioned, did you have to do a dance sequence?
Yes. And that's how I don't know how they picked me from the beginning.
I want to
Let me,
know about this because we
Baby,
did
let's talk
we
about it.
we never
Let
knew
me clear
about
up
your
a misconception.
uh-huh.
Dominique has rhythm, okay? The whole world making fun of me. Baby, I'm so glad. First of all, I'm so glad that this wasn't the age of social media, baby, because
Uh-huh.
I might have been ready to jump with the way people are treating people now, where it gets so in your face. But running joke of the world at that time was me not being able to dance. And the truth of the matter is, no, I ain't never take no dance classes. I was in the hood doing my little popping and locking it with my cousins. Like, so I wasn't surprised that I was struggling with choreography, but also y'all don't get it twisted. Okay. I got rhythm. I got a two-step. It's mean. Like the way people try to make it seem like I can't put my feet together. That was a problem for me. But no, I struggled with the choreography. I'd never been a dancer. I
Hmm.
was the cousin. I do have a cousin who I grew up very, very close to. I was the singer and she was the dancer. So when she would teach me the dances, they would make fun of me because they would call me stiff. Like, all right, Dominique, like you gotta like, what is this? Like, you need to loosen up. So I
Hmm.
knew I didn't have the choreography skills from the beginning, which is why I was kind of like, I guess my voice is carrying me because these girls are dancing. They were. I was like, and the most hilarious thing about that is my father is a professional background dancer.
Oh wow. Okay.
My dad,
The apple fell from the tree and rolled down the
baby, it
hill.
fell from the tree, rolled down the hill, and got rolled over by a truck because Derek Wiz, as they call him, my dad has been dancing his entire life. Now, again, my dad grew up, in the dancing schools and my dad is a dancer to this day.
Oh wow.
He danced for Houdini.
Oh nice.
Yeah, he was a background dancer for Houdini since I was a kid. Even as recently as before COVID, they were still touring. They sadly lost a member to COVID, God rest his soul. But my dad was, I mean, they did Central Park Summer Stage maybe 5, 6 years ago, maybe 7. And he was on stage with them. And so my
Wow.
dad gets down, down, down. And so that's the like inside joke that a lot of people who like in the world are like, damn, Dominique can't dance. The most hilarious part is that my daddy's a background dancer. And
Ah.
he's got the choreography, he's got the rhythm, he's got the skills. And I got the rhythm. I don't have the choreography. And I'm all right with that.
So you learn you're on the show and you're getting ready to go to New York City. How much time did you have between your audition in front of Laurieann and the rest of the judges did you have before getting on the plane and going to New York City?
Weeks.
Okay.
Weeks. I mean, maybe a month. Like I feel like it happened towards the end of my freshman year, maybe spring, maybe going right into summer, and then we spent the entire summer in New York. So it was
Mm.
weeks. It wasn't a long time.
Did you have to do any tests or evaluations before joining the show, like psych evals, health evals?
No, I don't know what they doing now in reality TV, but no, we just had to sign our lives away. We had to sign waivers and all that. No,
They
you look
never
so shocked.
because most reality TV shows, even during that time, like the top models, the American Idols, the
Oh
Flavor
my
of
gosh,
Love,
no.
they had them take psych evaluations to make sure that they were fit to compete and actually participate in the show.
No, maybe Diddy was trying to save money. I don't know, but no, we didn't. I'm just saying, no, that was not a thing, baby. We that wasn't a thing. At all. I mean, I'm being serious. That was not a component.
Did y'all get paid to be on the show?
We got a per diem of 100. Don't quote me. 100 or $120 a week. I want to say it was $100. Yeah. I'm not, listen,
$120 a
and I'm
week.
just speaking the facts of what happened. I ain't saying nothing about nobody. Don't nobody come get me. Don't nobody come bother me. I
No,
don't
you'll
want
be
no
fine.
trucks in front of my house. But we got paid about 100. Yeah, it was $100 a week per diem. We weren't provided food. That we were given like this, provisions. Like I feel like I vaguely remember them putting like bananas and eggs in the house, like something like that. It's something weird that because I remember not eating bananas at that time. I do now, but I didn't at that time. So we weren't provided with food. We had to do everything. I mean, we had to provide our own clothes, do our own makeup. I didn't know how to do makeup at that time. I mean, I learned to do a face from those women, like just to do a basic like something. I was going back to the hood, getting my hair done, and coming back. Like it was not I mean, we had IKEA furniture. Like it was not it was TV, and so TV looks like TV, but we were not being like taken care of by any means. We did get our makeup done for confessionals. We worked with, was that Morel Hollis? I want to say his name was. He was tremendous. He was so sweet. Oh my gosh. Anyway, that was the only time that our makeup got done. Was when we did confessionals, which was like once a week. And then when we made it to the finals, we got stylist that came and did us for the very last episode. So
how were y'all surviving? How were you surviving off of $120 a week? Was your family helping you? What was you doing?
I mean, yeah, I didn't have a choice. Like it wasn't, one, we were in New York City, and so when I had downtime, I went back to the Bronx. Like I'm like, Grandma, make me a plate because I'm hungry. So it was definitely an interesting thing. We had to make it work. We had to figure it out. And so I guess I was relying on my family at that time because I definitely wasn't working. I was filming every single day.
And did you guys get paid episodically when the season came out?
No. No.
Dang.
No. Like I don't know what kind of rights people was fighting for after. And maybe, and let me be clear, maybe Aubrey and them, like whoever made it into Danity Kane, once they were in a record deal, I don't know if what they were able to attain from there. I would imagine nothing. If I'm being honest, I never saw a dollar, a red penny, none of that. No, I didn't get paid off of having millions and millions and millions of people watching me on TV every day. Mm-mm.
Okay. Thank you guys so much again for watching. We're about to head to a commercial break, but don't go nowhere. Make sure you stay in the mix with Twixt, because we'll be back with more after this. Bitch, I just rapped. Pack your bags, because you are invited to the Twixt Takeover in the Dominican Republic, hosted by your favorite nerd, Oliver Twixt, from October 10th to the 14th, 2024. It's a 5-day all-inclusive stay at one of the finest 5-star resorts in Punta Cana, Hotel Rio Republica All-Inclusive Resort. Treat yourself to a luxury stay with beach access, fine dining, unlimited food and drinks, on-site attractions, spa amenities, and daily activities hosted by myself and my other co-hosts. This also includes a free masterclass on business, content creation, and social media marketing. And yes, everything is included. All you have to do is book your flight and show up. Now it's only a $100 deposit to lock in the early bird rate before the price goes up. Go to www.twixtrip.com right now to book your package to lock in the early bird rate. See you there. Thank you so much to the sponsors of this video. Now, if you want to be a sponsor of the next exclusive video or get your content promoted on any of my other social media channels, head over to my Instagram right now at He Is Oliver Twixt and tap the email button. Shoot me a DM or fill out the contact form on my link tree. I look forward to talking to you. Now, let's get back to the show. Going back to when you guys are in New York City auditioning for Diddy, walk me through that day. What do you remember most about that day? Because
So
it
we
seems
were,
like it was a long day.
it was a very long day. It was a very long day, if I remember correctly. Feel like there was a component at the hotel. I can't remember. You know, you kind of getting to know girls. That was a very um, that was an interesting experience. Like I got some stories. I remember. This is so wild. I wonder what I should and shouldn't be saying here. But
Everything.
this girl, this one girl, and I truly don't remember her name, but this one girl was there and she was like crying all over the place. And I'm like, what's up? And she's like, she had this story. And now you don't know what's true or what's not true, but this woman said that her man had just left her high and dry. And the man was the dream. Now, this is like, this is a long time ago. This is before the world really knows who the dream is as an artist, right? Because he was back. I mean, he'd been writing for a really long time. But she talked about how they had started to build. And y'all again, don't quote me that this is true. I'm telling you what somebody told me.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, they had she was like a rider for him, and then he had written a song that popped. Like I think maybe a Britney Spears song. I don't know if he wrote "Toxic" or something like that. One of those songs that and that he ended up, like you get on and then you leave. You leave somebody to the side, and I can't remember if he said that Dream had gotten with Nivea or something at that time. It was someone famous. I believe it was Nivea, because I know he's, I don't know his whole story, but I remember her just being distraught. I lost my man. I'm devastated. Like da 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 da. So you're with these strangers, but you're getting intimate. Like, you know what I mean? Because everybody is having anxiety and trying to, be their best self. So it was just I've never had an experience like that before or after, is what I'll say. So it was a long day, a lot of practicing, a lot of intimidation, a lot of like, y'all better be good when you get in front of Diddy. Like, he's coming, don't waste his time. Like, it was a lot of
from who?
Like
producers?
Yeah, no, not the the Laurieanns and like the folks who were on his team. Who were kind of coaches to us, right? It was their job to make sure Laurieann had to make sure we could dance. Andre was doing like artist development, like stuff like that. And so the moment that stands out to me the most was when your girl, I think she was my roommate actually, got kicked off the stage just for dancing in the back.
Yeah.
I was like, now y'all, I remember having a moment like, I'm going home. I know they about to call my name next, because she could dance, whoever the girl was. Like, I remember watching her and being like, oh, okay, sis, you got a little, and so I felt like I immediately had a feeling like, all right, is this show for real? Like, that was shock value in my mind. The first thought I had was like, you out here just trying to, embarrass people for ratings. That's what I was thinking. But then I was kind of like, all right, Dominique, dance a little harder, because they serious. Like, sis didn't get no opportunity to do nothing. Like, she was dancing in the back and he sent her home and was serious. She left from there. Like, so that was a little bit of a, like, I think it put the pep in everybody's step. Like, oh, okay. And that was it. I always, again, the confidence I feel is when I sing. So when I sang, I felt good. And then he's running through the names, running through the names, running through the names, running through the names. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going home. This was a good experience. Like, those are the thoughts running through my head. You said a good 15, 16 names. Y'all said y'all were putting, like, I don't remember if I think they chose 19 and then there were 3 left, like the 3 from the previous season or something like that. And so I was just kind of, the last thought in my mind before I heard my name was, all right, girl, like, you did it. You told your mom asked you to do this. You did your thing. Like, you made it all the way to New York. You got a little story to take back to college. And then he said BX, which was the nickname he gave me. And I was like,
oh, wow.
Oh, okay. I don't know how I'm still here, but let's go in the house, And I was very excited in that moment. I think I remember that was when the tables turned for me and this became a, like, okay, I'm in. And so now let's get invested. Let's win. Let's do our best. Let's, like, it was that.
So you guys make it into the house and you guys go meet the 3 from the previous season, Malika, Andrea, and Aubrey. What do you remember most about meeting the girls and your first introduction into the place you guys will be staying in, which at the time was like bare and looked like a prison?
Yeah. I can't say we were all young. I was 20 years old. And so, we had excitement, like, oh my gosh, look at this. We're gonna have this experience. I'm an energy person. I'm an energy reader, so to speak. And so it was a thing, like, coming in with these 3 girls who were there. It was like, obviously y'all trying to already, not these women, but the show, like, this is clearly a recipe for drama and, like, mess, to have these 3, like, senior girls and all these other new girls, and they were already told that they weren't necessarily enough, but they were enough to, like, so it was, I remember it being a little awkward. I remember liking Malika a lot. Like, I felt her energy was positive. And I remember feeling like she was a little older than some of us. And so just kind of like mentor guidance, like somebody who wasn't necessarily about mess. Got bad vibes from Aubrey very early on.
Really?
Yeah, and again, I don't want nobody coming for me, but I just, yeah, we didn't get along very well. And I am a lot as a person. I stand on that. I like that about me. But I'm a nice person. I'm a respectful person. And I think most of all, which I should have started with, I'm an authentic and real person. And I recognize about myself, I really, really struggle. And this is a me thing. This has nothing to do with the other people. I struggle with people who I feel are not genuine and are not authentic. And so it creates just a thing for me. Andrea was super sweet. That was it. She was her personality was a little dry. Like, she was nice. She was a nice girl with a huge, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful voice. Beautiful, beautiful voice. That girl was so talented. But yeah, Aubrey and I just never gelled. We never gelled. I had a hard time with, and everybody was who they were, right? There are cameras in your face all day, and you get used to that faster than you realize. And then you just start to notice people whose behavior changes as soon as cameras, the real boom cameras on your face. And that was the thing that struck me the most and made me feel like, nah, I gotta have distance here, because what y'all getting, baby, you gonna get it when the camera's on, when the camera's off. You gonna get it when I'm in the bed, when I'm out the bed. And those, I think, were the people who I gravitated to
the most.
And so the feeling that you are this way when nobody's looking, and then when the camera's on you, it's kind of like a whole different scene. That was really, really hard for me. And we had some moments like this, when we were on the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you about this. I talked to Malika. I interviewed her, actually.
Oh my
I
gosh.
did. It was really fabulous. And she mentioned something that stuck out to me that I'm going to ask you. She
Yeah.
said that very early on, I think before anyone had went home, there's a scene that did not make the show where basically you guys were given the challenge to go work at Diddy's restaurant at the time. And I believe it was Justin's. Do you
Yes.
remember
Yeah.
that?
Oh my gosh. So whoa. Before making the band ever, I'm a New York City kid. I'm a Bronx girl. Okay. I grew up again, bad boy, 90s, hip hop, R&B. My 13th birthday, my mom is like, you're 13. What do you want to do? I want to go to Justin's. My mother, I swear, I thought I was a grown up. I'm a middle school principal. They think they're grown. My mother and my aunties took me to Justin's for my 13th birthday. You couldn't tell me, baby. I wasn't just it. And so it was just so funny and so full circle that I ended up on this show with this man and working in this restaurant. Yes, that happened.
What do you remember about that? Because we didn't see it.
Oh my gosh, I remember the embarrassment. I was so glad it didn't make the cut because I didn't know what a shallot was. I didn't know what a shallot was. I'm gonna go ahead and lay it on you. I don't remember everything about the night, but we were the servers. Like we were walking around, how you doing? Da, 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 da. And somebody asked for shallots or said they didn't want shallots, and I was just pretending, yes, baby, I'm gonna handle that. And clearly didn't know what I was talking about. And when it was clear that I didn't know what I was talking about, Diddy embarrassed me. Like he said something like, "You don't know what a shallot is?" I don't remember. This is 19 years ago, so I don't remember the exact things. But that was I remember being one of the people who was embarrassed in the competition because I didn't know what a shallot was. So
wow.
Yeah, that was hilarious. That's what I remember. I feel like maybe people weren't getting along, but I don't remember everything. I just remember feeling very embarrassed that I didn't know what a shallot was.
And do you know what a shallot is today?
Maybe I ain't even gonna hold you. Onion, a type of let me say this in my defense. My husband cooks and I don't. Okay. So it's not my business. It's my business to know a whole lot of things. It's not really my business to know what shallots are about.
Oh, that's right. I was at this guy's house the other day, cooking, and I ran out of onions, and he was like, "Well, you can just use a shallot," and I was like, "Okay." Like I knew shallot was in the onion.
Yeah,
family.
exactly. I'm like, now that I know it's in the onion family. Now, at the time, I didn't know what it was. I was just pretending.
And he said it was like a shallot has like some type of infusion of garlic in it. I don't know. That's what the man said. I never went and checked, and I never went and checked.
It's given. I don't need to know for what I'm doing for a living. Hello, I'm out here. I'm surviving.
Mm-hmm. So before we continue on, I want to have a little bit of fun with you. I do this in every chat, and it's called roll call. Roll call consists of me saying a name that was on the season you were on, and you're going to say the first thing that comes to your brain, okay?
Oh gosh, okay.
You can say a word, you can say a memory, you can say a sentence, you can say whatever
I want. Okay.
Whatever you want to say. It could be good, it could be bad, it can be ugly, and it surely can be indifferent. Are you ready?
I guess. Let's get it.
Okay, the first name I'm going to throw at you is Amber.
Oh, my heart. My heart. Amber, oh my goodness. I love that girl. We hung out after the show. We stayed connected. We still are connected through social media now. We saw each other. She came out from California, visited me when I don't remember, maybe when I turned 22, 3, something like that. She came out for like a birthday party I had. Like that girl I really, really messed with Amber a lot. I really did. And she helped me with my dancing when I was on the show. She had my back. And I had hers. Very, very talented. I ain't got nothing negative to say about Amber. That was my girl.
I love that. Next on the list is Malika.
Oh, mentor. Level-headed. Very, very cool girl. Down to earth. I loved her vibe. I did.
You guys were placed together in a singing group, which was like one of the first challenges we see you guys do on the show. And Malika, what's going on? Girl, you in the mix with Twixt, honey. We gonna get into it. I told you this is a deep dive. You should have brought your flippers, baby.
I'm into it. Oh, I'm into it. Let's get it.
So you and Malika were put together in a singing group where you guys basically had to learn songs, sing them a cappella on the street, and hope that the people like you enough that they tip you and you guys come out as the winners of that challenge. On the show, Malika was struggling from what we can see. She couldn't blend, she couldn't get the
Yes.
harmony. And you seem to be like really the most vocal about it not sounding right and it not being all the way together. Tell me what you remember about working with Malika in that group.
I remember exactly what you just described. She was struggling. And the thing is, and this is the piece about me that I think a lot of people love and some people just don't. I'm not a person who thinks that it's good to lie or dance around like the things that need to be said. And I don't believe that that's meanness. I believe that it's very caring to just go ahead and say what's the thing. And I felt like, and this is actually a testament to how much people appreciated and respected Malika, right? And who she was as a person, that people were having a hard time just saying, girl, you struggling and it's holding us back. I mean, none of us were perfect, baby. Like I said, my notes were not hitting every time. But that was the thing holding us back. And I think that people were struggling to say that because Malika really was somebody we messed with, like that I messed with. And so but I also don't think that that's, I'm gonna tell my husband, baby, you struggling with X. Like I want somebody to tell me like that's who I am. And so maybe it could have come off as me being mean or, negative. It definitely wasn't like trying to box her out. It was more like if we don't address the thing that's causing us to not get this right, then we're not going to get it right, and I think that's what I remember about like what was going on in that moment. But I don't even remember. I hope she felt this way. I don't even remember us having any bad blood as a result of that, like after.
How were you guys able to pull it together? Because it looks like she got it together the day it needed to be together.
Yeah, I mean, we just kept practicing. Practicing. But I think naming the thing helps. So
the Bible says you got to call it out by name. You know what I'm saying?
What I know.
On the list is Tiffany.
Oh my Tiffany! Oh my God, Tiffany! She found me on Instagram a couple years ago. I was so excited about it. Broken heart. That's what comes to my mind because she was that girl's voice. I mean, she was so tremendously talented. I had no idea about the drama about her being underage, like all of that stuff. And so we were really sad. I keep saying we. I was very sad when she left the show. I had no idea about the like scandal, at the time.
What was the scandal?
She was underage.
How old was she?
16.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she was underage. And so I don't remember if she got cut or if it was because they discovered she was underage that she had to leave. I think that is what happened. And I don't know if that kind of got cut out because I haven't watched it in a long time. But that was what I remember. She was underage. And when that was discovered, she had to go. And people were not happy. I mean, the girl was talented. She injured herself. She injured herself.
Her
she
hip.
Had she injured her hip. So maybe that is how it was discovered, actually, because 20 years, you got to get the memories. Maybe it was when she injured her hip and they had to go and do doctors and all of that stuff. I think it was discovered then because you got to have the real documentation to see the doctors that she was underage and she had to leave. And that was just tragedy. The girl was talented. My gosh.
She could sing down.
So, baby, up and down. Tiffany was
down.
Yeah, this game is not that hard.
Oh, good. All right, well, let's turn it up a little bit. Danash.
Oh, Danash. Danash was again like a mama in the house. Kind of like Malika. Danash was like that. I think Danash had not very much patience for some of the mess because she was background singer for Justin Timberlake, background singer for Diddy. She was heavy in the industry. And so
She was a background singer for Diddy?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And so, I kind of thought that was a conflict of interest, but anyway. So, she was sweet as pie. I think sometimes people felt like she was a little too overbearing, but But again, so much of it ends up being editing. Danash was not, it wasn't that. I rocked with Danash. Like, I don't remember feeling like Danash was a problem ever. And then I feel like when I watched the season back, I'm like, oh, that's how y'all spending Danash. Interesting. Like, it's that, because everything is editing. Everything is editing, right? I was glad. I think in the end of the show, I was glad that who I was as a person, I felt was genuinely revealed. But again, my story was the fat girl who can't dance. And that was hard for me because, again, I weighed 120 pounds at the time. I mean, I ain't seen that weight in many years now, but back then that was tough. And so I feel like some of that was editing, because Danash she was really helpful. I think, and had a lot of skills because she had done this professional work. So sometimes I think she felt like, all right, just listen. Like, I'm trying to give you the note, like, but I really rocked with her. I think she's from Canada.
I can see that for Danash.
Yeah, I think Danash is from Canada originally. Yeah.
Next on the list is Taquita.
Taquita Thorns.
Your voice is everything. Like, your talking voice is everything.
Thank you, Taquita. Yo, Taquita just had my heart. I don't even know how to say it. Like, Taquita was a lot. Everybody knows this. That's a fact. Ain't saying nothing great. Taquita was a lot. I loved every minute of it. Like, that was my girl. We stayed connected. Like, I spoke to Taquita. I saw Taquita many times after the show. She had so many. The girl's been through a lot. She's from Detroit, and she had just so many things happening in her life. But we saw each other a number of times. We saw each other in New Jersey after the show. I saw her in Vegas after the show. And I saw her in California a couple of times. Taquita. That girl was my heart. I don't know what's happening in her life right now. The last time we saw each other, things just seemed different. But she was just always such a beautiful soul, so ridiculously talented. My gosh. So talented, and she has a beautiful, beautiful son.
I remember after you guys' season ended, she had a show on MTV
with Cowie.
That I was very excited about. And then I just remember it just went away. Like, it stopped airing.
Yeah, they had so much. I don't know what was going on with Cowie. Cowie and I never didn't get along with Cowie, but she wasn't like a friend of mine on the show. I believe that something fizzled, and I don't know if it was Taquita getting pregnant, because Taquita had a baby. Her son is double digits now, and so, like, he that was around the time. We like randomly ran into each other in Vegas, which is so crazy. We weren't trying to see each other. Randomly saw each other in Vegas. She had a brand new baby, and that was around the time that within a couple of years of when their show was supposed to be. So I don't actually know why the show got canceled. I don't know if I feel like there were some episodes.
Yeah, I watched them.
Yeah, I was gonna say there were some episodes, so I don't know if it was, Taquita getting pregnant or what happened. But
Taquita Thorne, I want to find Taquita Thorne so bad.
Yeah, we could talk offline a little bit more.
Gotcha.
That was my girl.
Side note, are you involved in church?
No.
Really?
No. Yeah, people are often shocked by that. I didn't grow up in the church. So I was raised by a village. My parents were very, very young when they had me. And so we lived with my great grandma, and she was a Jehovah's Witness, which is about as orthodox of a Christian you could get. Ain't no holidays, ain't no pants, ain't no, it was a lot of that. And so I think my mom just really ran away from religion as soon as she could, with how intense of a religion she was kind of born into, or being raised in. So yeah, I've been in and out of church, of my own, on my own. I've been baptized, but I didn't grow up in the church.
Only reason why I ask, your voice has so much authority. Like, it has such a power and a presence. Like, that reminds me of hearing women talk in church. And, you know, that's why I asked.
I just credit that to the women in my family because they
I
all
love
got
that.
it.
I love that. Next on the list is D Woods.
Oh, yeah. Uh, you said to say the first thing, and I gotta do what I gotta do. I think the first thing that comes to my mind is like, hold on now. Um, on the show, got along. I mean, so sweet. We got along. She was great. She was talented. She was level-headed. Like she was really, really awesome when we were on the show. But remember, when we were on the show, um, her name was Wanita. It wasn't D Woods. That changed when the show was over, or as the I don't remember how that changed. Um, and so I don't know if she's from Atlanta. Her and her sister. Her sister's also in the industry. I think was with Young Money.
Young Money, correct.
Um,
Chanel.
and so we would every once in a while run into each other. We didn't stay connected. Like I stayed connected to a number of women when that show was over, but we did not stay connected. And so, but not in a negative way. Just like you off being in a singing group. And so my younger brother is a tremendously talented dancer, and he was in the dancing industry in Atlanta. He was a part of Dance 411, which is a big like dance company out there. And so they used to do these big showcases. And so I can't believe you said that name because I can't not tell a story when it comes up. So my brother is a part of this showcase. So I flew to Atlanta. I'm like there. My husband maybe was just my boyfriend at the time. This is a few years ago, years and years ago. And I see D Woods. Now I know her as Wanita. I wasn't, we were on a show together. We vibed. We were cool. Like, so I see her and I'm like, oh, Wanita. But like this is, I think, intermission of the show. So we're in like a auditorium style thing. Baby, she ain't more than 5 rows ahead of me. Okay. You just talked about how powerful my voice is. I know she heard me. Okay. So I'm like, hey, oh, Wanita, like, hey, girl, or something like that. And she's looking, maybe perpendicular to me. She's like looking and talking, whatever, doesn't respond ever. I'm not offended by that. I walk away. Maybe she didn't hear me. Maybe she did, whatever. Now I'm standing in line to get concessions. And she comes up next to me and she's like, got this hat. I don't want to speak to her intention. I don't know if you're trying to be incognito or what. And she like leans in and she's like, I go by D Woods, not Wanita. If I was in a chair, I would have fell out the damn chair because okay. I was like, I don't even remember what I said. I think I said, oh, okay. Like, okay, girl. Okay. Like, what do you say to that? Right? Like, I remember I was just like, what is this event? Like, this is not a celebrity event. These are kids, really talented kids dancing. And there's some, big time choreographers that are there. But just like, it was such a weird moment. And really, I think was just, again, people grow up. I was 20. I ain't 20 no more. I'm not the same as who I was when I was 20. And so you walk away from an experience like that. You don't know who a person becomes. You don't know what their experiences are that yield that, right? And so I was just very off put by that because again, I keep going back to Dominique and authenticity, same sentence every time. And so I was just like, okay, D Woods. Like in my mind, I'm like, that was a reason to ignore me. Were you afraid for people to hear you? It's given like I grew up with Jay-Z in the projects and I knew him as Sean, and I don't know. Just it was very, very, you're not Jay-Z. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. I'm not asking for an autograph. I saw someone I knew that I had a beautiful relationship with when we were on TV together, and I was trying to say hello. I wasn't trying to blow your cover. I wasn't trying to out you as Wanita. It was a very, very bizarre moment. And that was it. That was it. So that's the memory that comes to mind when you say D Woods.
Oh my God. Let's keep it trucking. Next on the list is Dawn.
I knew you was gonna do this. Oh my gosh. Dawn. Oh my gosh. You rarely meet
Dawn
people.
Richard.
Yep, yep. You rarely meet people with souls as beautiful as Dawn's. I'll start there. Um, Absolutely loved her when we were filming the show. Um, we got close. We were
Oh
really,
wow.
really close on the show. Um, Katrina happened when we were
Hmm.
filming.
Hmm.
And that was really, I mean, we were giving her clothes out of our suitcase. Like her entire family was displaced by Katrina. And I think that was something that brought us all even closer together, right? You go
Hmm.
through a trauma like that. And so Dawn and I were pretty well connected. I remember us talking about um her and the family, I think, relocating to Baltimore where her brother was in college or something, and the entire family maybe having to stay with him. Like it was like a big thing. And I guess in a D Woods fashion, they both ended up in a group. And hello, I ain't in no singing group trying to tour the world. So who knows? It just felt like our communication got cut off. And I was disheartened by that. Like I felt like we were in communication. It was cool. Girl, we need to link up. How you doing? You in Maryland. I'm in Maryland. It was that. And then it was like, I don't have access to you anymore. I don't have your number anymore. I don't have your and so that was a little rough because I cared so deeply for her. There are people who were on the show who like, okay, like maybe peace, see you when I see you. But I was definitely hurt by that. I remember that feeling. Um, and she recently, I don't remember if she DM'd me or I DM'd her based on a comment. So I went viral a few months ago. Me and one of my students were having a rap battle in the cafeteria at lunchtime, and it made the shade room.
Hmm.
And Dawn, again, don't quote me. She commented like, "Oh my God, like Dominique, da 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 da." And then I don't remember if she DM'd me or I DM'd her. And then we like had a little cute conversation, just like, "Oh my gosh, it's been so long." But yeah, I just remember being very sad about like losing
Mm.
what I felt was a friend at that time. But I mean, the
Wow.
girl, and so I say, I mean, this is almost 20 years ago. It's not something
Hmm.
that I'm feeling now, but
Right, right,
this
right. Of
this
course,
this
of
brings
course.
up the memories. Um, my God, is she talented? Like, when I think about every single girl on that show,
She is in.
myself included, when I think
Hmm.
everybody on that show, it ain't a competition. It was, but it ain't. Dawn, just the tone of this woman's voice, the goosebumps that Diddy talked about with me, Dawn. Just, I think when I think about, yeah, I mean, when I think about all the talent in that space, right?
Hmm.
Dawn is the person who will continue to ring in my mind as one of the most talented women to have graced that show.
I've gotten into her music. We follow each other on Twitter. I remember when I
Mhm.
started doing music in college, she actually like retweeted one of my videos and stuff
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh.
Yeah, that was like a moment for me.
Yeah.
But her artistry,
Unreal.
her
Crea-
voice,
but also just creating her own lane.
hmm,
You know what I mean? Like it's just something that's so commendable
very
in an
commendable.
industry where people, if you don't look or sing a certain type of music or look a certain type of way, are people going to make space for you? And she's like, no, I'm just going to make space for myself. And I,
But
I
it's
really
so
respect that.
crazy to me, like with Dawn having this foundation of being on the show, being in that big girl group, then
Yeah.
continuing on with Diddy and being part of
Yeah.
his band. I
Yes.
don't understand in the equation with her creating the caliber of art that she creates. And it's just not no run of the mill art. Like Mama's
Nope.
graphics is amazing. Her sonic
Yeah.
sound
It's
is
all of it.
amazing.
It's
Everything's
all of
amazing.
it.
I don't understand why she's not like a huge mainstream artist. Like I don't understand. Cause I feel like Dawn should be
Yeah.
on the
That's a
same
really,
in my opinion, she should be on the same level as like these other pop girls like Dua Lipa and
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
Dawn gives it. Like she gives
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Listen,
That's
I think
crazy.
that's a great question. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I mean, don't do the eyes like that. I'm just saying it could be feasible that there are people who are getting in the way, and
Dang.
I don't know that that's true. That's, this is just me putting two and two together. You know what I mean? How many people who've come from under Diddy, who've come from Bad Boy, have had continued success in separating from him? Name them.
Thank God for Janelle Monáe. Because remember, Janelle Monáe was over there
Yep.
for a good little
Yep.
minute, and
Yep.
she got the
Mhm.
fuck, and now
Okay.
she's doing great. She's doing
Yep.
amazing. Like her
Yep.
career is at a level, I don't think a lot of
Yep.
people thought she would get to, but
Yep.
I think that may be the only one I can say that I can think
And
of.
that's a lot to say, because there's been hundreds of people we've grown up loving. I mean, people who have made tremendous music that has shaped our culture, music that is the reason why we got some of the stuff that we have today. And where are they now? And I think that's what I mean when I say I can't prove anything, but also, like, I can put two and two together. Like, it's a part of why I ain't signed the deal that was offered to me. So
Mhm.
yeah. But
Next,
Dawn, I want it for her. I want it for
I
her.
want it for Dawn too so bad, and
Mhm.
we got to move on to the next person. But I feel like we live in an age where now, especially with social media being such a huge platform where people can catapult, like we've seen so many success stories of people in their tenure years or their latter years in their career, like get to a place to where like they catapult into a whole different stratosphere.
Yeah,
People like
yeah.
Big Frida. Big Frida had been doing music since the
Oh my
90s,
gosh, forever, and didn't care who was
forever.
watching and who wasn't.
Didn't give a fuck. And then now
Yep,
Big Frida's like Big Frida. Big Frida's a
yep,
huge thing.
yep.
Even
Big
people like
Frida with
Lizzo.
Beyonce, Big Frida with Drake. Yeah, it's
Even
really
people like
tremendous.
Lizzo. Like Melissa Jefferson had been putting out music for years. Melissa Jefferson had been, and I know that name because that's my, God rest my aunt's soul. My aunt passed away. That's her name. Her name was Melissa Jefferson. So I know Lizzo's name.
Oh,
Yeah, but
yeah,
Lizzo had been putting music out for years. And she was like 32, 33 when she finally like caught on, and
yeah,
now she's Lizzo. So I pray the
yeah.
same thing for Dawn because she's so talented.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
she's so
But I think
talented.
I think the beautiful thing about Dawn is she gonna keep doing it regardless.
Yeah.
I don't believe that she's doing it to get to Lizzo status, to get
Mm-hmm.
to Big Frida status. Like, I think that's a part of what is so beautiful about her. Like, she emits that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just something, and I feel doing music in the way that she is doing it is feeding her soul, regardless
Mm-hmm.
of who kind of picks it up.
Oh, I love that. Ooh,
Yeah.
Dominique. Ooh, ooh, that just hit me. Feeding your
Yeah.
soul, doing things that feed your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Next on the list is Shannon.
Oh, I don't have a, I don't know. Shannon, she was so nice. She was so nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got. I Yeah, Shannon was very very sweet girl. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
Gotcha.
No problems. Very quiet. I'm just saying, no problems. Very quiet, in her
Uh-huh.
lane. Let me hit this two step. Like, you want me to do the background? You want me to blend? Like, yeah. I
I
mean,
love
come
your voice.
on.
I love
Yeah,
your
but like
voice.
Shannon, she was a very sweet girl.
Next on the list is Andrea.
Oh, voice for the gods. The girl could sing. All that little bitty body, singing the way she sings makes no sense. Yeah, she was a nice girl. Really, really clung to Aubrey. Uh,
Mm.
and I don't know if that was to her, a good thing for her or a bad thing for her. I
To
don't
her
know, but
demise.
yeah, but very, very sweet girl and very, very talented. Yeah.
All right. Now, thank you guys so much again for watching. We're about to head to a commercial break, but don't go nowhere. Make sure you stay in the mix with Twixt because we'll be back with more after this. Bitch, I just rapped.
Did you really think that was it? Baby, get ready for yet another big night in Web Reality. Not only do we chase the beat, we set the tone, honey, for one more show-stopping night. Presented by me, Oliver Twixt, the second installment of Chasing the Beat, a celebration of queer art and creativity is here. Join us as some of the stars from Chasing Atlanta take one final bow. Plus, special appearances from some of our faves from Dallas and even Los Angeles. Yeah. Be sure to watch it live on the Chasing Reality YouTube channel. Coming soon.
I get the bag, you get the bag, we get the bag. All my hitters in the club gon' get the bag. Ryan get the bag, Ryan get the bag, hit it. Ryan get the bag, Ryan get the bag.
Yo. Oh, and one more thing. If you are a performing artist and want the chance to join the lineup for this upcoming Chasing the Beat to perform your music in front of our viewing audience, here's your shot. Email us now at oliver.twixt@mychasingreality.com for more information.
Thank you so much to the sponsors of this video. Now, if you want to be a sponsor of the next exclusive video or get your content promoted on any of my other social media channels, head over to my Instagram right now at Oliver Twixt and tap the email button. Shoot me a DM or fill out the contact form on my link tree. I look forward to talking to you. Now, let's get back to the show. Now, we're gonna turn it up just a little bit more. Next on the list is Doc Holliday.
Oh, Doc was very chill, very helpful, very helpful, very brilliant. You know, clearly just been doing this for a long time and knew what he was doing. He just seemed like I'm here to do a job and I could do that job. Like Doc didn't give me a lot of the airs of what the rest of it was. He just felt like I got hired to come and get these voices together. I'm gonna get these voices together. I appreciated that about him. He wasn't an element of drama on the show. He's like, that note, this how you do that. You know, he was cool.
And me rewatching the show, I was like, oh, Doc was kind of cute. With them dreads, Doc was in his nice demeanor. Like, Doc was kind of cute.
Interesting. That's, you know, and that could be for you. Because I do a dread. I have the microbox myself, but you know, not my type, but he's somebody type.
Next on the list is Laurieann.
I think show ratings. I think drama. I think absolutely hilarious. I mean, the moments with Laurieann were absolutely hilarious. Like, and you know, there was elements of embarrassment, and she can be a lot, and sometimes it's not very nice. But really, she did her job on that show. Like, she did her job in terms of prep dancing. I mean, her talent is unreal. But she was just absolutely hilarious. And I think it's so interesting because I feel like people watch the show, and I could be reading her wrong. I feel like people watch the show and they're like, oh my God, she's doing that for TV. But Lori gives that. All the stuff she was giving, like, there don't gotta be no cameras around for Lori to be like, no. I feel like that. I didn't feel like it was disingenuous, which is what made it so hilarious. I feel like she was being her very dramatic, very genuine, very like cut and dry self. You know?
One of my favorite things she says, amongst the many favorite things she says on that show, it's so crazy. I feel like that show was out now with social media. Y'all would be like superstars, and Laurieann would be one of them because she is so quotable.
Oh my God.
One of my favorite things she said was, Dominique.
Dominique used to say that all the time. And she used to say she used to say, I mean, come on, muffin. Like, she had the one-liners for centuries. And that's what I mean. Like, Lori, in a lot of ways, made our show, right? Like, when I think about the moment that I had with the Deborah Cox moment, yes, I'm going to give myself the credit for what I did there. But Laurieann putting on all of that contributed to people remembering me. I mean, let's be real. It was hilarious. She falling over Dominique. Like,
her hair was fucked up.
Hello. It was just, man, talk about it. Really was an iconic moment, and for more than just me singing. Like, Laurieann, thank you, sis, because all them dramatics definitely heightened the moment. For sure. for sure.
Another favorite Laurieann moment is when she's with your group, and this is after like the Taquita Hell Week. Actually, two favorite random Laurieann moments.
Yeah.
When she's with y'all's group and y'all are preparing for the Backstreet Boys, right? To open up for them, right?
Yes,
It's Backstreet
yes.
Boys.
Yeah.
And so she says, it's 6 girls in this group. We have an extra girl. Yay to Cleats.
Oh yeah, it felt like a pretty. It felt like, and again, that's what I mean when I say I feel like genuine. Like she wasn't hiding when she didn't like you, when she thought you were. What are we doing with this person?
It's too much neck. It's too much neck.
You know, and she would tell me in a heartbeat, girl, you lucky you got that voice. You better sing down because these moves aren't moving. You know. And I just appreciated that about her. I thought she was hilarious. She added a great element to the show.
Laurieann was the tea. She was the tea. You can tell I watched this like 1,000 times. Laurieann is a key.
Absolutely hilarious. Yep.
Next on the list is Johnny.
I mean, I don't even remember Johnny like that. Like I say that to say I don't feel like his. Yeah. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember having any real experiences with Johnny. Yeah.
Johnny Wright, right? Johnny Wright.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's big. You know, he's done really amazing things, but
you just don't remember him like that. Next on the list is Andre Harrell.
Andre, wow. Andre is someone who, you know, before me, who I knew, not knew personally, but who I knew. You grow up in New York City, you're a singer, you are, you know, Mary J. Blige is your idol. You living in the 90s, listening to Bad Boys, you know Andre Harrell.
You know Andre Harrell.
You know Uptown Records. You know those things. And so I just remember being in awe from the beginning of being around him. And interestingly, more than really around anybody else, including Diddy, right? Diddy always felt like every time he's in the room, there's a shock value. Every time he's in the room, it's like, you know, and a scary thing. It was that. But Andre, my gosh. And so to have him come to me, you know, while I'm filming that show and start developing this relationship with me in terms of
liked you.
Oh my gosh. And I to this day, no matter what happened between us after, I always just felt so honored by that. Like somebody of his caliber who knows talent, you know, who Jodeci, Heavy D, I mean, Mary J, just all the people that he was responsible for making who they were. I remember just feeling a ton of gratitude for that, for having someone see my talent who was Andre Harrell. You know, that from beginning to end with him, it always felt so genuine. And if it wasn't, I couldn't tell. You know, like I really, really, really appreciated the relationship that we had until it just wasn't a thing anymore.
Okay. I remember this scene between you and Andre where you got taken aside by him, I'm assuming, and he just like was basically like coaching you and was like, girl, you got an anointing, you know? Well, he actually said anointment, but I know what he meant.
Yes, exactly.
I know what he meant. He said that you had an anointing. He was really like just like speaking life into you. I felt like at that moment, because from the show it seemed like you were getting kind of down from the pressure and being told like you can't dance, and I'm pretty sure you probably were nervous every cut, like, is it my time to go? And then they got me here, I'm still here. What do you remember about that conversation with Andre?
I remember you know, that whole week was really something, you know, because my frustration wasn't just about not struggling with the dance. It was the fact that I'm like, you're creating you're talking about super group, like this women's super group. They gotta be able to sing. And every week cuts are being made seemingly really just based off dancing. Like once we auditioned and had to sing to audition to get in, outside of the when we had to do the singing groups, it felt like everything else was surrounded by was about the dance and the two-step and who can be in formation. And I'm like, I know that's important, but every week I'm like, we ain't cutting none of these girls that can't sing. What's up? I mean, and so it just got to a head where every week you feel like you're on the chopping block, and you like, but hold up, when y'all gonna let me sing again? Because I wouldn't be. That was my energy and my feeling in that week. And I remember Dinosh guiding me through a conversation. I'm crying. I'm like, and that's what I mean. I ain't gonna not be who I am because the cameras are around. I'm frustrated. This ain't making no sense to me. And I don't remember how Andre got wind of it. Could have just been watching, from another room. But I remember really feeling frustrated and down on my luck at that time, and leaving that conversation with him, feeling affirmed and feeling like, you know what I mean? Like, this is Andre Harrell who is telling me that I have an anointment and that, I'm gonna go places and that I'm so talented. Like that. That's a moment that gets to live with me for the rest of my life, no matter like whether I sing or not. I got that moment with Andre Harrell. That was invaluable to me. Invaluable to me.
There are people who I've had on a bucket list that I've wanted to meet in the industry, and Andre Harrell was one of those people. Because I feel like there wouldn't be a lot of Black music if it were not for Andre Harrell, including Bad Boy Records, because he was the one who gave Diddy his start, and that's how Andre is a part of Diddy's beginning.
Exactly.
And I just wanted to shake his hand, and I just wanted to tell him thank you. And when I found out that man had passed, I was like, God, oh my God, I wanted to meet him so bad. Yeah, God rest his soul. I wanted to meet Andre Harrell so bad, so bad.
Yeah.
Next on the list.
He was
sorry,
fun.
I'm so sorry.
He was fun to be around. That's okay. He threw my 21st birthday party.
Really?
So
Andre liked you, Dominique.
So no, but I don't know what part of the interview we get into this, but in the show ends, Bad Boy offers me a solo deal, a demo deal. Andre, my mom's already, we all like, we don't trust this, but Andre is the person who pulls me to the side and says, I don't want you to take this deal. You are
with Diddy.
You going with me. Yeah. It was a whole plan in place. I don't know that I've ever told in any interview I've ever said this. Because people ask you, they hear you had the solo deal. They're like, oh, why didn't you sign? And it's not a lie to say I didn't trust signing with Bad Boy, because that was true. But I absolutely was under the influence of Andre at that time. And I think the hard part for my family and I was like trying to determine, is this a ploy, right? Like, is this all a part of the, like, Andre and Diddy doing this together? It was a little confusing for me, but again, it's Andre Harrell, right? You want to be right. And so I trusted him, and I allowed him to kind of take over. He had his, ex-wife as my lawyer, and he, was working to get me a deal. At the time, what he said was that he was trying to recreate Uptown Records, and I think had a vision of me being, at the helm of that in some way. And so, so for a while, it was given lavish, like bringing me up to New York City, took me to all these underground, me and all my family and friends to like these underground.
Pay for all y'all to come up there.
Speak easy, like restaurants and bars that I grew up in New York City and had never known about. So I'm like in these underworld. You go into a restaurant and then you go to a kitchen door and it's like, oh yes, you're on the list. Come downstairs. Then you go into the secret bar. It was like, I'm 21. I don't know what's going on. I'm just out here, young and dumb, and we were having a good time. And I think what ended up happening was that he like put me with a few producers. I think he's the one who connected me with Eddie F. Got a couple of my songs done.
Eddie F.
Yeah.
What is one of the Eddie
songs,
F?
Baby, I don't know, but another icon. And so He had me in the studio a little bit, and I just think that my assumption is that the Uptown Records thing didn't pan out, and then communication just stopped. And that's the thing, I got pretty close. I got in on the outskirts of the industry, right? And after the show, which we can talk about, but that was a thing. It would be like you're in with someone and you're in communication with someone one day, and then you're not. And that was a very like being young and not knowing what's going on. You're like, are we still doing the deal? Like, and so it just didn't pan out. And then I just stopped hearing from him. And I was kind of on my own at that point to figure out, should I continue pursuing music? Like, yada, yada. And, the down the line version is I did continue to pursue it. Long story short, a sponsor came into my life, blah, 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 blah. And I ended up getting another deal offer from Atlantic Records. But by that time, I had had enough time in the industry to know it wasn't for me. And I walked away.
I would love to get into that right now while we're on it. Let's cook it a little bit more. So Andre Harrell tells you not to take the deal with Diddy, which that is tea. That is tea. Oh my God.
Yes.
You know what?
Truth be told, I don't know if Diddy knows that to this day, and he got plenty of fish to fry right now. I know he ain't thinking about Dominique, baby. So I ain't even worried about speaking my truth.
Diddy got hush puppies. Okay. Diddy got a lot of shit to fry right now.
Yeah. So there we go. So I'm gonna just go ahead and speak my truth and not be worried about it.
Yeah, we ain't worried about shit right now.
So yes, Andre said not to take the deal. He brings me up to New York, connects, has me in the studio. I was around like Robin Thicke. I didn't know what was happening with Robin Thicke at the time. I just knew Robin Thicke.
You were in the studio with Robin Thicke.
I didn't do any music with him. He was around, and I didn't understand why, because I knew him as Alan Thicke's son. From what was the song? I mean, what was it? His father. Okay,
but I know Robin Thicke's father is like a famous, he's famous
TV show. I don't know why I'm blanking because my grandma
Happy Days, is it?
No, but my grandma had me watching it as a kid, and like the father sang the theme song. And so that was how I'm like, you look like somebody, and it turned out that it was his daddy. Anyway, and so Andre would say he was also working on like boosting Robin Thicke's career, and you see where that went. So obviously that worked out, right? And so he connected me with Wendy Creedle, who's his ex-wife and his son's mom. And she became my lawyer at that time. And we were just trying to work through stuff. And so we had I think they helped me do at least one of the songs. I think that Andre connected me with Eddie F to do the song Nothing. And it was just a few months of like whining and dining me and saying, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And then when it wasn't, and I couldn't reach him anymore. And that was what happened. Literally like that. And so,
which is very common in the industry. I've had stories like that where I've been working with producers, then I'm doing demos, and then I don't hear from nobody. And then you're just like, oh, did you fall off the earth? Okay. So at that time, I was, first of all, I was in college this whole time. So I did the show. I filmed the show summer between my freshman and sophomore year. Oh, wow.
I made it to the finals, and they said at the end of, like, when they got down to 11 girls, they said, you guys are the finalists and go home. And we were like, well, what do you mean go home? What's the plan? How we know who's making a band? And they're like, yeah, we'll just call you when we're ready to film the last episode because we don't want you to know who's in the band and tell people before it airs. So I'm like, I'm on a full ride to this college. I'm like, I need to know what to do because I have to go back to school or not. I was very lost. So I go back to college, start my sophomore year, and then the show starts airing while I'm in college. And that was insane. Like, whole other story. Just insane to be overnight.
I bet you were like a superstar.
Oh my gosh. But it was positive. It was a blessing. I felt humble every single day, but it was overwhelming. You just like, you can't go nowhere now without somebody, it's you go out to restaurants, there are lines of people like lining up to get your autograph and And then, I remember they're like a football player, Maryland's a D1 school, some football player who I never met going around telling people he was sleeping with me. I'm like, well, I don't know you. Don't be trying to nobody's on me because I'm gonna make it a band. You don't even know if I made the band. Like, it was that. So it was completely overwhelming. And then right before finals, at the end of the first semester of sophomore year, they called me. And I'm like, y'all, I gotta finish what. So I probably still have it somewhere. I gotta find it. MTV wrote a letter for me to the University of Maryland asking them to excuse me from school for the last couple of weeks or whatever of the semester. And we went, filmed that last week. Again, I don't make the band. This is like November, December. I don't make the band, but Diddy's like, don't leave town. They offer me the demo deal. Andre's like, don't take it, but I got you. And then I went back to school. I went back for the next semester. I'm like, I'm gonna keep trying to finish the school thing. I'm trying to get this degree. And so while I'm finishing my second semester of sophomore year is when I'm working with Andre. Is when, like, over those couple months, I turned 21 in March, and I'm working with him and working with him and working with him until I'm not. So then I'm stuck, like, okay, what am I doing? We had this momentum. Am I now pursuing a record deal on my own? Like, I was really kind of lost in the sauce. And MySpace was very popular at that time. So I get, as I'm trying to navigate and figure out, what am I doing? My mom was able to help me get another lawyer. This amazing
Shout out to
lawyer,
your
Johan.
mom.
Yeah, Monique, man, listen, we'll get it. Monique can have her own book, okay? But anyway, so she connects me to Johan Powell, amazing lawyer who, like, she knew from some back then, but I don't know, but super, super cool. And again, I'm trying to figure out my next move. I get a message on MySpace saying, I watched you on the show. I am, one of your biggest fans. I believe in you and I want to sponsor you. What? I'm literally like, what does this even mean? So I get in touch with this person, this guy who's like a Mary Kay salesman from Long Island. Okay. And we start talking. And he says, you don't understand how much you inspired me. He's like telling me this, I feel like this story of, like, I don't know if I'm vaguely remembering, like, his parents passed away in like a freak accident or something and maybe left him a ton of money. Like, I don't remember the circumstances, but he talked about being very down and out, and that, like, watching me kind of brought him out of that place, and that he really believed in me. And so we get with this lawyer because I'm like, is this real? Like, I don't want to be a sex slave. Like, what does this mean? Like,
Right.
I was just like, I'd never heard of this. I don't know if this is a real thing.
Not my
So
goodies.
right? So, hello. And so so my lawyer, like, brings him in. We have a sit down, we have a meeting, and he's like, this is legit. This guy is gonna put up this money, and with the understanding that it's an investment. He could win it or he could lose it. And so he gave me $100,000.
Dominique!
$100,000. And I believe the contract was very, like, free and clear. Like, if she make it, you get this percentage of this thing for this amount of time. If she don't, you're short. Like, and my lawyer was like, I have vetted this contract. I have written this contract. You ain't gotta worry, kind of thing. And so then I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna pursue getting a record deal now that I got this $100K. And I left school. I had dorm, everything was ready for junior year. I had one of my good girlfriends who I grew up with from middle school, who was even a bridesmaid in my wedding. She was about to move in with me. She was leaving her college in Ohio, transferring to my school. We were going to be roommates. And I had to even be like, girl, I can't even do that. I got to come out of this lease with you, kind of thing. It was that, like, last minute. So I go back to New York, where I'm from. So I got, I said, go stay with my grandma in New York. And I don't remember who the person was who was guiding me through this besides my mom at the time. But basically it was like, okay, we got to find a manager. Like, once we find a manager, then we can find this and that and this and that. So I got managed Have you heard of Jimmy Henchman?
No.
Okay. Well, Jimmy Henchman was a hip hop artist manager. He used to manage 50 Cent. And he ran Czar Entertainment. And you can Google all of this.
Girl, I
He
just
ran
did. I'm looking for
Hello.
him right now.
Well, he's in prison. So, and for murder. So, let me bring you over here before you go do your research. So, long story short, whoever connects me with them is like, look, he's done hip hop and he wants to branch out into R&B. So, like, yeah, he's gonna manage you. You're gonna be like little queen of, you know what I mean? I'm young and I'm naive. Like, so I get into a management contract with Jimmy Henchman and Czar Entertainment. And it was a lot. It was a lot of big black men around me every time I was in the studio. I don't know what to say. They didn't know anything about R&B. They didn't know anything about managing an R&B artist. But they had I think his name was Teddy. I can't remember the guy who was actually in charge of me, if that makes sense. But that became my management company. And then I got a publicist. I got with 5WPR, and they were like, I think they were with Lil Kim, and all these big people. They had big people. And that was probably, I think that cost $36,000, if I remember correctly. Like, this stuff was expensive. Like, I had to spend, I think it was 30 to 40 grand on the publicist, and that was only for 6 months. They got me a trainer, I think a vocal coach, and then the rest of the money really was spent on starting to make music. So now I'm in New York City. I'm actively pursuing this thing. The manager has me in the studio. You getting with this person, that person, doing your songs. The publicist is now putting me out there. And I think I had no idea what that meant until it happened. So they're like, oh, we booked this magazine, we booked this little radio thing. And then it was all these events. It was like, you have to go to this party. You have to go to this party. You have to go to this event. And I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't know that was what it was going to be. And this cycle was rough. Like, once I did 5 or 6 songs, I couldn't even go back in the studio anymore, because they like, we got the EP, we got the songs. Like, so now, right, you come into this thing because you love music so much and because you love singing so much, but your everyday life is get up, go to the gym, right? Like, go maybe do a photo shoot or this or that, and go to a party or an event. I was like, and the things that were happening at these parties.
Tell us, Dominique.
Baby, listen. It was wild. It was wild stuff. And I wasn't prepared for it. And I wasn't into it. It just wasn't, it just felt like every day it became more and more clear. Like, is this really a place where you got to sell your soul? Is this really a place where you got to be willing to do anything? Everybody's hitting on you, from the guy mopping the floor in the studio to the engineer to the manager to this. It was just like, I was uncomfortable every single day. I fell into a deep depression. I had a boyfriend at the time who was like, I think instrumental in helping me to keep my brain together, if that makes sense. But I think I just started waking up and realizing, shit, do I want this? Like, I was kind of down trying to figure out, why am I doing this? I'm not even getting to really sing like that. It's clear that being in the music industry and being a recording artist is way more. There's so many other components than me actually just making music. So I'm really just trying to do this to make money for my family, right? Like, to take care of my family. And I don't know if it's worth it. Maybe I should go back to college. That was really what started happening. And so my manager finally secured a meeting with an A&R from Atlantic Records. And man, I wish I could remember this guy's name, because he was an angel sent down. I'm going to tell you why. We get in the meeting. He's like, girl, where you been? Because now we're in 2000. We're like going into 2007, basically, right? The show was 2005. This is almost 2007. So he's like, girl, I was like literally looking for you after this show. Where were you? Because now, almost 2 years later, year and a half later, there ain't as many people checking for you, somebody on a reality. He was keeping it real. And he said, and I'm still willing to sign you. You're very, 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 very talented. But I want to make sure you really know what it means to be signed. And so, if I remember correctly, I feel like he asked my manager to step out, which was a little like, what's going on here? But it happened. And the realest conversation I think I've ever had with anybody, especially in the industry. He's like, okay, so let me lay it out for you. Okay, I sign you. That's something I can do. We get you an advance. Go take care of your family. Do whatever you're gonna do. At the time, I think he said that would make you the ninth like female R&B artist to be on Atlantic at the time. I think he mentioned that they had just signed like Estelle, some other artists who really well. He's like, so basically, I and you, we are basically in competition with these other like A&Rs and these other artists. Everybody wants their artist to be number one. Everybody wants their artist to be the hottest thing on the president or the CEO's desk. So let's say, even though you were on the Making It Band a couple years ago, some people forgot, some people still remember. Like, best case scenario, I'm able to move you up 4 or 5 slots. Yeah, she better than this person, that person. They album not ready. Here's Dominique stuff. You could still get shelved. He's like, I want to make sure you know this before you sign, that like there are no guarantees. He's like, I put the stuff on the desk and say, this is Dominique, she's ready. This is her stuff. The president or CEO could say, that's whack. Shelved. That's not hot anymore. Shelved. That's not what people want to hear. Shelved. I don't like that look. Shelved. Whatever it is. And he's like, and once you are shelved, then we own you. We've given you this money in advance for you to make us money back, right? But now that whole album is on the shelf that we spent hours, money, hundreds of thousands of dollars on, right? Studio time, writing, artists, producers, blah, 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 blah. And now that album is on the shelf. So there's that, let's say $100,000 you owe us. Where do you go from there? And he's like, this is where a lot of people get lost in this industry. There are so many people. I think of Sherry Dennis, right? Who are right in that thing. So now you can't go to another label because you're still in contract with this label and you owe them all this money. So you can't even go put out an album somewhere else. You owe us money. So what you doing? You gonna write some songs for us? You gonna sing background for some of these other main artists that we got here? Like, you know what I mean? It was one of the most beautiful, enlightening conversations in my life. Like, I left that meeting and said, I'm going home. I'm done. And that was the biggest blessing of my life, because if he did not have that conversation with me, I'm sure I would have signed. I'm sure I would. Atlantic Records.
That's a huge record label.
I would have signed. I would have signed for whatever, little $10,000 advance, whatever they were giving. Like, that's the dream. And so I don't even remember this man's name. If he ever saw this, I hope he would remember this conversation, because that education really allowed me to make a sound decision. I walked away, and I know the manager walked out the meeting like, yeah, we did what we said we going to do. You about to get signed. I called my lawyer the next day, and I said, can you get me out of this management contract? Can you get me out of this sponsorship? Like, can you get me out of all this stuff? When he said yes, I said, Grandma, I love you. I'm going back to college. And I went back to school. And I never looked back. I will say the experience was so traumatic that year and a half that I didn't really open my mouth to sing for a while. I was just so jaded. I was so like, damn, it was such a roller coaster. I was getting hate mail from like fans on MySpace, like, oh my God, you getting deal offers and you're not taking them. You're so selfish. You're so stupid. How could you not use your talent? All that. It was like, I didn't come into this for this dream, but then I got myself hyped, right, for this dream. And now I'm here. Like, I don't want this. This is crazy. And that's what happened.
I first want to say thank you for sharing that story with me and trusting this space I have here to offer us that. Before I even get into asking questions, I just know you telling that story and people when they hear this is really going to change people's lives. And it's
Mm,
really going to help someone because for so long, all of us, myself included, have watched these TV shows, Making the Band, American Idol,
mhm.
America's Next Top Model, and we get served this glamorous life that you can be any day type of person, and the next day you can get injected into superstardom. And it's places like here, the Twix exclusives, and other people who talk to people like you, and we get down to these stories where we find out the truth of the
Baby.
music industry. And a lot of times, unfortunately, the sad truth of what has happened to a lot of our favorite people that have gone down this path and unfortunately are lost in this world of now being in debt. Now you've spent so
Oh
many
my
years
gosh.
chasing this
Mhm.
dream, and
Mhm.
other areas of your life are now underdeveloped. And so now you have to play catch up to even have quality of life.
Yeah, I mean, think about I mean, the suicides, right? Like when you hear
Yeah,
about
the
some of the
drugs.
yeah, there's a real reason, especially the way the industry looked at that time, where all of
Mhm.
this there's a completely different set of opportunity now with what the industry looks like, but back then, I mean, yeah, I really do understand why people do drugs and lose themselves and kill themselves being a part of that, especially when it's someone who who really did come into it based on a love for their artistry and end up in that web. I knew. I'm telling you that man was a guardian angel.
Wow, Dominique.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this already, but I'll ask you anyways. Do you regret it?
Hell no. Absolutely not. I mean, I try not to regret anything in my life
Hmm.
because all the things happen for a reason. It's God's will. But no, no. I look at my life right now, even with the stressors in my life, right? Like, I have this beautiful family. I have I love who I am. Like before I even get into the things that are outside of me, I love who I am, the
And
woman that
I
I
can
have
see it.
developed into. I truly do. And who knows who that woman would be had I signed that contract and just gone a different path in my life. Like before you consider people, I want to consider me. And the experiences that I've had in my life that have yielded who I am today. Oh, thank God. Like for real. Because I just I appreciate waking up in skin that I love, and waking up and feeling like, yeah, yeah, this authentic, you're gonna get this, like all of the things about me, I love them and I love that I love them. And I don't know who I would be had I gone down that other path. Not even to say it would be somebody negative, but the way I love who I am today, I know I shouldn't be regretting what I didn't
A
do
thing.
then. And then outside of that, I mean, I have this beautiful family. I have a husband and a set of twin daughters. Um, I have a family, an extended family that loves me so much and that I love so much. And I know everybody be bragging on their friends. I got some of the best friends in the world. And I think about the people who I am around. I think about the people who, from middle school to high school to college to career, that are in my life. And to imagine that if I would have taken that step, all the people who are my village, my tribe, wouldn't be my tribe. I don't want it. I don't want it.
And to the people out there watching, um, I pose you this, right? So we see now so many people coming out and talking about the trauma they've experienced as a result of being a part of the business. Even when you look at the people who were a part of making the band who have spoken out in
Yeah.
recent times, people who've been on Bad Boy who've spoken out in recent times, and just all these other people on these reality TV shows. Y'all know over here on Twix Exclusives, we've had some stories that have been told that weren't so amazing. these things that have been experienced as a result of people trying to get this dream, trying to reach this level of stardom, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to have, and again, and with me posing this, I'm still gonna pose it, but I don't want anyone to feel like I'm judging anyone's decision. But this is just to the general public watching. Would you have preferred to be in a super mega group selling millions of albums but don't have no money to show for it today? Or would have rather gone a different path and be someone like Dominique, who has a family, children, who founded a school, and we're going to get into all that, who's a principal of a school she founded, and is waking up with a peace of mind and can smile and isn't conflicted and ain't worried about nobody coming to get nothing from her, and she don't owe nobody anything else. I really feel like it's really time for us to really reevaluate what is the true American dream. What is success? What does success look like? What does stardom actually look like?
Yeah.
And I think you sharing that story, Dominique, is so pivotal. And I'm just so grateful that you blessed me with it, because what you just said was, it's mind-blowing to me. And I know it'll be mind-blowing to other people to actually really cause them to think and really evaluate, what is important and what is really truly worth the sacrifice and the risk.
Yeah. And I think, there's no right or wrong answer to that, right? Like, I think your path is your path. And what I will say is, especially when I look at how things have turned out for the girls in their group and all of that, no, hell no, I wouldn't have wanted to choose that path. It doesn't mean, because I do believe that I'm anointed, right? And so
you got that anointment.
hello. And so if I would have chosen that path, I'd still be doing great in life in some way. I believe that. But I am, it's the number one question I get. Do you regret not signing with the record deal and not doing that? And I don't. I think the one thing I will say is, the life I've chosen, especially being a founding principal, my gosh, very high powered. I don't make enough time to do the thing I love. I love to sing, and I am living a life where, there's so much movement that I am looking to make a shift in some way so that I can make time to do the thing I love, not even necessarily with a goal, right? Like, I really, really love music and I love
To
singing, and
feed
I
that
don't,
soul.
I don't want to have no parameters around it. I went viral a couple years ago when they have the range challenge happen, and I went from like 2,000 Instagram followers to 10 or something overnight, and people had expectations like, "Girl, where's the music?" I'm like, "Baby, you on my Instagram page. One day you gonna see my twins doing something cute. One day you gonna see me belting it out with my baby sister, who has a tremendously beautiful voice. One day you're gonna see me rapping in the cafeteria with my students." Like, nobody gets to prescribe how I'm living my life ever, ever. And I think that's another reason why I don't regret walking away from that industry, because you can't tell me, I don't care who they are. I don't, the Beyoncés of the world. Yes, I'm in the hive. Even to get to that part of life, to that level of stardom, there's not a moment. When do you get to just relax and just exist how you want to exist? And I think the way I appreciate being able to exist how I want to exist in my life, I wouldn't want to sacrifice that for fame,
I love
right?
that.
So that part of it for me, watching Beyonce at that award show where she's clearly, Beyonce is everybody's favorite celebrity, right? So you can't even go sit at the award show with the celebrities without the people hounding
I
you.
felt so bad for
Nah,
her.
B, I don't want that.
I felt
Now,
so
don't get
bad
it
for
twisted.
her.
I want the billions. I got to find a way to get there. But I don't. I am clear that I don't want it through that means. I don't. I just don't. And I don't know where I'm going from here. I'm in education and I love education. I've been in education for 15 years. I am a singer and I am talented and I have that artistry with me for the rest of my life. But really, I'm a talker.
You love to
I'm a
talk.
storyteller. And I'm like, I wonder if in my next life I'm gonna be somebody's Oprah, somebody's,
Baby, you just gave it up tonight.
You get what I'm saying? And so
You just gave it up tonight.
I'm figuring that part out. What's next for me in my life? I do know that wherever I'm going, I'm gonna be this Dominique. I'm gonna be whatever Dominique I want to be. I'm serious. I
I
just saw
love that.
someone, maybe the head of Essence, had a little
I
Instagram
love
clip where she
her.
said, yeah, oh my gosh, where she said something like, if you can't be who you are, where you are, don't change who you are, change where you are. Right. And
Yes.
I'm getting to a point in my life where I'm like, ooh, I rock with who Dominique is. I never want to be anywhere where I can't be this Dominique. And if that means I can't be famous, cool. If it means I can't work at this organization because I'm too black, I'm too hood, I'm too loud, I'm too quiet, I'm too whatever, I don't want it. I want that for the rest of my life. I want that autonomy to say, I'm gonna step in here with my door knockers and we gonna get this CEO work done because I can
Yeah.
do it. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I look like. I'm gonna get this work, right? I am
Yeah.
brilliant. I could do whatever I put my mind to. I just want to live a life where I can continue to be authentic and I don't gotta fit in nobody's box to get to the bag, to be happy, to do what I want.
Oh, Dominique, you have torn my whole interview and line of questions up, girl. Girl, I'm over here trying to stop from crying. I'm over here shaking, like, girl, Lord, this is you talking. Like, oh, Jesus, Dominique, thank you so much. Like, really, really, honestly, thank you. Thank you so much. That was an epic roll call, and I'm still not even done with it.
Well, I'm still here.
Okay. Jesus, Dominique, that was so good. Next on the list is Diddy, Puff Daddy. Puff Daddy's in the kitchen frying fish, hush puppies, conch, catfish, fries, hot water cornbread. Puff
The
Daddy is
thing.
frying.
Uh-huh.
What do you think when you hear the name Diddy? What comes to mind?
Um, I mean, what comes to mind right now is just um all the people impacted. That's really what comes to my mind. If I'm being honest, like when I like if I'm closing my mind and I'm like closing my eyes and just focusing when I hear Diddy's name, I'm like, damn. Like when I hear Cassie's story, and I know how much life he lived before Cassie was even born. Um, I just can't imagine the number of people with similar stories who you'll never hear from, who aren't famous, who aren't anywhere where anyone would believe them if they told a story similar to hers, right? Yeah, that's really what I think about. Especially when I talk about how important storytelling is to me, and how important it is for people's truths to be able to be named. That's what I
I
think
love that.
about. I think about a kid growing up in New York City. You can't grow up in New York City and not hear rumors. You're not famous, right? So, like, I'm saying, I wasn't famous growing up, so you don't ever know if the tabloid drama or the stuff you hear in the hood about what Diddy's doing over here and there is true. But everything that's coming out is the type of shit I was hearing when I was a kid. Like not some of this wild, wild, wild specific stuff in this like latest lawsuit with Cassie, but like you just always heard shady ass shit in the same sentence as Diddy my
Yes,
whole
Diddy.
life. And so I didn't know the man. It's crazy, right? That I grew up like that, and then I ended up having an experience with him. But yes, I grew up in New York City where Diddy was infamous, right? Notorious, was this person who was behind literally all the hottest people in the industry, was one of the hottest people in the industry. But then you will also hear these random little like, did he do what with who? Like, and you just a kid, you don't know, you just like, oh, that's wild. And you running around telling people, yeah, I heard this person doing that. I heard Mace got this, that, and the third, but you don't have proximity to know what is real and what's not. And so it's really sad to have some of these things be coming out as presumably or allegedly true because it's
Yeah.
very scary. And I just think about I do think about the money. I do think about the financial aspect of like the number of people who should be able to feed generations upon generations upon generations of their families based on the work that they did with Bad Boy and not having a pot to piss in. That's wild. That's wild. When your boy got the billions or the hundreds or whatever, that part is hard. And I don't know enough about any of the details of anybody's situation, but you ain't got to be a rocket scientist to see that everything that has happened in those situations was not always above board. Period.
Diddy got a lot going on, and I will say I think it's unfortunate for you to have built this empire the majority of your life, and now you're towards the end of your life, and it's looking as if it's going to be gone away. Um, I just want justice to reign, and I want, if something was done, justice needs to be served.
I believe in
Justice
it.
needs to be served. Justice needs to be served.
I believe that. I believe that.
And
And
wholeheartedly.
yeah, people always ask me if I had any, wild experiences with him. I didn't. We were on a show together. Every time I saw him, cameras were running. He was very, very extra, as I would expect him to be, because ratings, because his personality, all of that stuff. So yeah, I'm glad that I don't have any wild ass stories as it
Good.
pertains to me and Diddy particularly, or anything that I saw or experienced. I'm glad that that is not. I think that's another reason I'm glad I wasn't chosen for the group. I don't know what those girls experienced,
Yeah.
and everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Last on the roll call sheet are the producers of the show.
Nah, I don't remember nobody. I remember a white guy with curly hair. I don't even remember his name. He was nice. I think he was the one who was responsible for writing the letter for me to
Mm-hmm.
my college. And then there was a woman. I can't remember if she was just a, I- in charge of cameras. I feel like she was one of the producers. She was a black woman. She was super sweet. And I can't think of her name right now, but we like are Facebook friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never had any at that time. I don't know what the reality industry now is with producers, but they were really behind the scenes. There was no real, like, they would come in. I remember you get used to the cameras in your face. You just do, until you are having a serious moment of vulnerability, right? Like where something happens, you've seen it on Love and Hip Hop. Get that camera out of my face. That's a thing, of a natural instinct. If you about to cry or you want to fight or you da 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 da. That I remember those being the only contentious moments where producers would come in and be like, "Baby, you signed up for a reality show. Y'all start arguing, we coming." Like, I remember a moment. I don't remember which of us was. I don't remember if it like which of us was crying, but someone was having a moment, and we all tried to like do a thing in the bathroom, and they was knocking on the door. They were like, okay, come out." Like somebody was, somebody's on the toilet, somebody's in the shower. Like we were trying to do a thing to mask, I think, for one of the girls who was having a moment, something personal, I think, had happened at home, and they were crying and crying. And the producer was knocking on the door, like, "Y'all can't stay in the bathroom. We need to see what's happening. Like, come out." And so those were the moments where it was like, all right, okay. Okay, I heard you, and you doing a lot. Like, but outside of that, they're just so quiet. They're not really like there, and so we had this like penthouse that we were staying in, and they had their setup. Like, you open our door and you look at the other apartment door, and that's where the producers and the cameras and everything were set up.
Okay.
Yeah. And so in the house, they had like little holes in the walls. Those had cameras, and there's like mics attached to each section of the room, and like a little mic wrapped around your bed. And then there would be like a person assigned, like to be walking around with the camera. And then as soon as drama comes in, you could tell they ringing some bell, because then 3 different cameramen come in. They all coming from the angles, trying to catch a tear falling on top of the camera and all of that. But honestly, it was fun. It was fun. It was a really interesting and cool experience to be a part of.
I've heard you throughout this chat talk about being labeled, you feel, as the fat girl who couldn't dance. Did you walk away with any traumas or hurt feelings regarding your participation in the show?
Ooh, trauma 1000%. And it took me years to even really realize it, specifically around the weight. I went back and I rewatched the show, and I was sitting with a girlfriend of mine who had never watched it. And so we were like sitting and watching, and she was like, oh, like how they're talking to you is crazy, like, and you look back and you're like, damn, they was beating down on the sister. Like, and not just me, like the nature of the show. Get your shit together. You're fat. You can't sing. You can't dance. Like, and so I struggle with my weight so much now,
Mhm.
like probably for more than the last decade. And I do attribute, I mean, some of it to genetics, but really that experience, there is a before, there's like a, how they say like there's a my life before making a band and my life after. And I will tell you one thing, to be a black woman, to be a dark-skinned black woman, like in the world that we live in, confidence was not a thing that I was short on before I went into that show. I give my mama and my family the credit. I grew up in a lot of stuff, right? But baby, there was affirmation. I grew up hearing how brilliant I was and how talented I was and how beautiful. I grew up hearing that stuff. And so I honestly don't remember having any kind of body image issues going into that show. I wasn't the skinniest girl. I weighed 120 pounds. I'm 5'1". I liked my little body. I was in college,
Mhm.
colleging, okay? And I don't remember ever being like, ooh, like, is this part of me? Like, I wasn't that girl. I'm gonna just wear what I'm gonna wear, my little jeans, whatever. And oh, I didn't realize how much that show and the constant references to my weight, um, just for the rest of my life impacted me. I really did not know until years later when I was struggling
Wow.
so much with it that was the moment, right? You 5'1", 120 pounds, size 6, size 4,
Mhm.
but you're standing next to girls that are size 1 and 2 and 0, right? You're standing next to girls who are this tall. You're standing next to girls who have been trying to break into the industry forever. So they already know they can't eat. They already know they got to be skinny. They already know and so that the body image issues that I have now. I mean, I'm a mama, I carry twins. Like, there are things
Mhm.
about it that I accept who I am, but I have
Mhm.
struggled with my weight. And I attribute a lot of that trauma of just not being able to fully accept who I
Certain
am and how
things.
I look to that experience because I really truly asked my people like before that show, that just wasn't one of the things I struggled with. And leaving that show, it was a big issue, which is why when I got with my managers, they're like, oh, we getting you a personal trainer. I was still skinny then. They had me working out every damn day. It was just that was the image. You the fat girl, so don't get that. Like you gotta be, that was that was rough. That was very, very rough.
How do you manage it today?
Um, therapy,
We love that word.
baby. And I'll brag on my therapist. I mean, I've had the same therapist for over a decade, and I mean, it's been transformative. And it hasn't just obviously just been about making the band, but in general, that's
Mhm.
been I've had to do a lot of self work to address all the traumas in my life, not just the
Mhm.
making the band trauma. And I think it is the key in so many ways to showing up as a real adult, right? Dealing with whatever are the things from when you were younger, when you were a kid, whatever the experiences were, give yourself a fresh start because the trauma, you still gonna have trauma at 30, 40, 50, the things are gonna happen, but you can't let it pile on
Mm-mm.
from back in the day on you gotta look in the mirror, you gotta do the self-work. I think a lot of what I will say I've had to work on is seeking validation.
Mm.
That is something that I struggle with. And I feel like in a lot of ways that was born out of this making the band experience.
Wow.
This idea that you gotta wait for somebody to say, yeah, 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 you good, you did that right, you know, you on. I like you know, I like that. Being in an environment where everything is about somebody else saying, yeah, you got the talent, yeah, you got the look, yeah, you got the dance, yeah, you got the this. I mean, yeah, you know, you get to that point. And so I'm still working on that now. And
Yeah.
nothing is ever, you know, a closed door. But I look at my daughters and I really, really, really want to model for them, not giving a fuck what
I
people gotta
love
say.
that.
You
I
know, and I
love
got and
that.
that's what
I
I
don't
mean.
give a
Like they
fuck.
because it's but the thing is, I gotta it's important to me that I'm modeling that. I could say that to Nola and Naila until my
Mhm.
face turns blue. But if they see me giving a
Mhm.
fuck about what everybody gotta say, that is they will internalize
They
that.
will.
You know, kids don't care what you say, they watch what you
Yeah. They
do.
watch what you do. They
And
watch
so
what you
that's
do.
now that I have daughters, that is something that's just so important to me.
I love that. And I love the advocation for going to therapy. You got to take that trash out or it'll start stinking after a while. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
wow. Dominique, we're at
Yeah.
the end of roll call. You did such a fabulous job.
Thank you.
You
I've
did
been
such a
having so
fabulous
I didn't
job.
know what to expect. I know we had a conversation. I've been having so much fun with you. Just yeah,
Oh.
this was a really good time.
That means so much to me, Dominique,
Yeah. Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
I have lived for Dominique, okay? Like lived. And this, you don't know how much you sharing your story has spoken to me because I'm at that point now in my career where I'm just like, what do I do next?
Hmm.
Yes, I've done reality TV, I've done social media, I've done all these great things. 30 is right around the corner. What do I do? How
Hmm.
do I do it? Who do I trust? Where do I go? How do I figure this out?
Yeah.
And I'm a very spiritual person. I love the Lord. I love meditating. I love having internal conversations and
Yes.
unpacking and trying to understand the whys and the reasons behind why I'm acting like this or why am I
Hmm.
doing this. And just hearing you talk tonight has given me so much more information and context to add into that discussion. I'm really grateful. Like I'm really, really grateful. And I've really, really enjoyed this. Like this has been freaking
Oh.
amazing. Thank you guys so much again for watching. We're about to head to a commercial break, but don't go nowhere. Make sure you stay in the mix with Twixt because we'll be back with more after this. Bitch, I just rapped.
What's up, everyone? It is Darius asking you to check out my newest children's book, DJ Stands on Business. Follow along as 5 friends who are entrepreneurs by the name of Pixel, Raven, a dynamic duo we can learn, and a children's book author named DJ use their entrepreneurial spirit to save money to go on a trip to Mexico. So follow along as children can learn about terms that teach them about entrepreneurship and give them the opportunity to open up the world in the adventures of friendship and entrepreneurship. You can check out my children's book, DJ Stands on Business, as well as DJ's Favorite Day and Twinkle Little Star at www.kingdariusbooks.com.
Much to the sponsors of this video. Now, if you want to be a sponsor of the next exclusive video or get your content promoted on any of my other social media channels, head over to my Instagram right now at he is Oliver Twixt and tap the email button. Shoot me a DM or fill out the contact form on my link tree. I look forward to talking to you. Now let's get back to the show. Okay, so jumping back into the show, I have a lot of questions for you regarding like some of these episodes and what happened and what really happened. I want
Okay.
to ask you, how was the running challenge for you, Dominique?
So
Oh, you know what? I do remember.
when I said
You
I
said
don't
something about
run
I don't run
unless I'm
unless
being
someone's
chased.
chased. Yes, yes, yes.
Because I don't like that ain't B, that ain't what I do. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was devastated when I found out we had to do that. I was like, I might as well cut me because I'm gonna be last in line. I was glad I made it through. I mean, I'm serious. I was like, we didn't have to go get cheesecake from Brooklyn, so it wasn't like that crazy, but it was a challenge. And that is the episode where Tiffany injured herself.
Yeah, she injured herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sad about that.
What? Tell us about this cross-country bus ride you guys take from NYC to Miami, where you guys make like these stops at some radio stations. We don't see this entire bus ride. We really just see y'all stopping at these radio stations, stopping at Johnny's place in Orlando. Fill us in on what was going on, because I've gone from Atlanta to New York City, and that's like a 14-hour drive.
Yeah,
what was going on?
I think that they probably didn't show a lot because it was low key. Like, it wasn't really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We went out to, I think we started by going to Virginia because we had to do the show, the Open Up for Backstreet Boys. I don't remember a lot of it. I feel like we stopped in Mississippi. Like, we just stopped places. We did little radio interviews. We stayed in hotels. And really, the drama was when we got to Miami. I mean, like, the point was us getting to Miami and having that last bit happen there. And Miami was a lot. First of all, it was fun. We were in Miami, and it was, that was very cool. But then the whole setup, man, I'll never forget feeling like y'all trying to set us up. Diddy came to the house. They had us in they definitely upgraded us when we went to Miami. I think we were staying at the penthouse of the Sagamore Hotel. And Diddy like throws us a party. He like comes through, and I'll never forget, so funny to see his sons as grown-ups, because he had Christian with him often. And Christian was a baby. He was little, he was sitting in between his legs when we had that like moment, So he like came, and he's doing this thing. Like, y'all did y'all thing. Y'all earned the spot. Y'all in. And I just kept feeling like, yeah, something ain't right. There's about to be some kind of setup. And then he tells Laurieann to like take us out, take them out, everything on me, take them to the bar, take them to the strip club. I'm like, so Laurieann takes us to the strip club, and they serving a lot of alcohol. Mind you, I don't even remember how that worked out, because I was definitely underage. I was 20 at the time. And so they're like, doing all this extra, y'all deserve blah, blah, blah. And then what happened? The setup. Laurieann gets a call in the middle of the strip club saying, bring him to the studio. I was like, yeah, I ain't even that drunk, or I ain't even had a drink. I don't know. But I was just like, you knew. Diddy ain't do that this whole time. He ain't out here spending money and so when we got to the studio, he's like, basically, yes, like, this is what the industry is like. Like, you go out and you have your experiences, and you might be in the club all night. Then you got to be in the studio the next day, all day, or you got to be in the studio all night. Then you got to show up and so we did that. When I sang Deborah Cox, it was 2 or 3 in the morning.
Really?
Yes, that was like a bring them from the strip club straight to the studio. And that was right after. I do think I had an influence, because right when we were having the heart-to-hearts in the hotel, and Andre came and everybody saw me crying, talking about how they don't never ask nobody to sing. This is the night when he asked everybody to sing. We had to dance, and baby, I tore it up, and I don't mean in a good way. Okay? That was when I made the ugly face. Oh, Lord.
Was it your foot hurt or something? What happened?
No, I just didn't know what I was doing. I'm not a dancer, so I'm like, oh, I guess the move is like this. Like, I'm looking crazy.
They should really give you more credit, though, Dominique, because you was actually keeping up. Like,
I was trying.
You was keeping up. I think what it was, when you see people like Shannon and Dawn, because I was watching, I rewatched this season, and they're like, okay, their shoulder may be like a and yours is like a, like
I got the move. It's just stiff. I got the move. Yeah. So when he told me, now when I had sang Deborah Cox before, I never had the opportunity to go to where I went. Right? I turn around, you're standing here. Like, I said to myself, I'm just gonna keep fucking singing. That's what happened. When I got up there, and he said,
you just kept singing.
Yes, because Diddy would cut you off. That was a part of the show where you would start singing, and he'd be like, thank you. That was a thing where you think you in the middle of your song, and he's heard enough, so he's like, thank you. So when I started singing, I just closed my eyes and kept going. And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna hear you if you say thank you, because I was so frustrated and I was like, I'm gonna get this song out. So when I finished and he said, check this out, check this out. When I say on God, I really thought he was about to be like, who the fuck you think you is? Who do you think you are? Keep singing. Ain't nobody, like, I thought he was going to be upset and say, you out of here, because why is you up here? And so when he said what he said, all my reaction was so genuine. I was like, baby, because the way I thought he was about to say, check this out. Nah, you out. I really thought that was what was coming. I really thought that was what was coming. I'm not kidding. Because I in my mind had made up my mind. I'm gonna get all the way to the high note. I'm gonna keep singing, whether you want me to or not. I just closed my eyes and kept going.
I remember watching that as a child. I remember where we lived. I remember what my room was set up like.
Oh my gosh.
I remember me and my cousin Adrian used to watch reality TV together. And she's really the reason why I even got into reality TV, because she used to watch it, so I started watching it. So we really, you know what? I really got to dedicate all this stuff to my cousin Adrian Davis back at home, because she's the one who made me watch all this stuff, y'all. The reasons why y'all get into exclusives because of my cousin Adrian Davis, who used to make me do everything with her. I had no choice. And I remember us watching that, and we was like going up, you know, because reality TV is new. We feel the emotion. We see Laurieann. We see you giving it. We see Diddy's reaction. We've never seen Diddy ever react that way. And honestly, I feel like still to this day, we've never ever seen him react that way to someone that says, I can't even be Diddy right now in this moment. Like, you go over there. Like, I can't even play with it.
Yeah, he's not, I mean, in the entire history of the show, he ain't never said to nobody, yeah, you're not even in the cut. You're just good to go home. Like, you're good to stay. We were all shell shocked.
What do you remember the room? Like, the producers, the girls, the judges, what do you just remember once you opened your eyes and saw what was going on? What do you remember seeing and feeling about that moment?
I remember the girls cheering for me. I remember feeling because it can get dicey. We're all young women trying to go for the same thing, and so it can get nasty a little bit. I remember like looking up and seeing girls, tears in their eyes, clapping for me, and it felt very, very genuine. I remember Laurieann and her dramatics, and I feel like even producers, like, I feel like it was a moment in the room. It was a moment. It was a moment in the room that, I mean, and what's so funny is Wanita D Woods saying that what she said after. She's like, I think she sang and it went all up in the rafters. Like, it was that. I think it was just such a real moment in reality TV. That's what I will say. You get a lot of scripted nowadays. You get a lot of just like, I'm on reality TV. Let me see if I can do this for shock value, that for shock value. I want to stay on the show. I want to get paid. That just wasn't what it was about back then. And so that, for me, the reason people label it as iconic and all, I just feel like it was a real ass moment in reality television. It was a moment where Diddy took off his Diddy hat, which never, ever happens. It was a moment of camaraderie amongst a bunch of women who were in competition, right? That was huge. It was huge.
I watched I think, which is still like your most recent interview before this one, where you were basically like reacting to you singing. And I heard what you said about it. He was like, my notes were not on, my notes were not on.
Because they weren't. And that's another thing for me that made it so crazy. Like, again, I don't pretend. I know that I can sing. I know that I have talent. I'm not about to downplay myself. But yeah, it was also a very raw moment. Like, I don't have a lot of vocal training. I'm just like, I was so in the moment that pitch, maybe it was flat, sharp, whatever. I just was like, I am here in this moment. My eyes are closed. And when I open them, I'm like, shit, okay, well, I'm going home, literally, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm really grateful to have been a part of this thing that gets to live on forever, in so many ways. I get to show that to my daughters one day, they're 4 now, but like when they get it, I think about, so my little sister, You know, you don't know the impact you're having on people. My sister is about to graduate from college right now, and she was in a pageant last year.
Mhm.
And my mom and I and her dad were in the audience watching, and she's a contestant trying to win this pageant, and she's very, very talented. She sings. And so in her talent part of the pageant, she comes out and she's acting like Whitney Houston. She has on this beautiful red dress, and she's like doing the when Whitney Houston was on stage, or you better lay low and
Uh-huh.
I survive. She's doing all that. And then the very last moment, she starts talking about me. She's like, and I want to talk about my best friend, my sister who, and she starts talking about making the band and all this stuff where you like, damn, I was on TV and the world watched, but hold on, my siblings were watching too. And you
Mhm.
don't even realize the impact. And then I will send you the link to this. And then she starts singing Best Friend by Brandy. And I, with no plan, just start harmonizing with her from the audience, and they caught the moment. Honestly, one of the top 5 highlights of my life. And so I've like helped to raise my siblings significantly. And so they are like my siblings and have played a role where I've kind of been like mama to them too. Heart melted on the floor, crying, like where I'm like, that is where I'm so grateful that I've had some influence, right?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, yeah. It's my baby girl.
I
All my siblings.
remember being chosen to lead a song at my church on my church's second album. We shout, we study, we shout, we serve. Newmont Olive Baptist Church was it's a big church in Fort Lauderdale. A lot of people know it. Dr. Matt King Carter was our pastor at the time, and he's like a big thing in the religious field, especially on an academic level. And my song, children's choir, Eddie Oliver Jr. is the soloist. I was like the child soloist in the church, so everybody know I can sing. And it's all things through Christ. And so the song is really monotonous, like it's basically I sing it by myself. The children's choir come in, we go to a bridge, we sing the chorus again, and we go out. And so I'm like, shoot, I need something, I need to do something.
I gotta jazz it up.
To jazz this thing up. I got to pull something out of my hat, and they didn't really rehearse us because it was a really easy song. It was a really,
Yeah.
I can do all things still. It's really easy. I'll post it on my social media.
Yeah.
And so it gets to the end, and I'm thinking, I got to jazz this up. And I have been secretly practicing doing the note that you did. At the time, I don't know this comes from Deborah Cox's song. I don't know anything about Ain't Nobody Supposed to Be Here. All I know is Dominique on Making the Band did this big note, and Diddy went crazy.
Oh
And
my gosh.
so at the end of the song, as the song is coming to the end, I breathe in. Oh, just in the thingy, the people go wild, like they
Oh
go
my God.
crazy.
I want to be clear. I need to see this. You absolutely better post it. I want to see it. I'm not kidding.
So I don't have the video, but I have the song. I was able to get the CD last time I went to my grandparents' house, got something from Amazon, popped it out, was able to extract it. So I have it on my laptop, actually.
Yes.
But yes.
Oh
Dominique's influence on my life is stamped in wax, because that last note was because I saw Dominique on Making the Band do that Hail Mary pass, and I was like,
make me cry.
no, don't cry. But it's the truth. I'm telling you the truth. Like,
gosh.
I ain't making this up. This is the truth. Yeah. So
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah. I appreciate you. Like,
yes.
I will never. I just can't believe what the response was to me on television. Still, like that never lost on me. So grateful.
I almost dare you to post that clip now in 2024.
What clip?
The clip of you singing.
I ain't scared.
That the people need to see that again, because even when I rewatch it, I've seen it 1,000 times, I still get like chills. I'm like, this baby is going for it. Like, she is going for it.
With my little pink halter top, my hot pants, and my white belt.
And your white belt, yes, ma'am. With your hair pulled back in a bun.
Uh-huh.
Yes, ma'am. I want to let's talk about a little bit the whole getting ready for the Backstreet Boys. So that was
Yes.
like a big thing on the show where you guys are opening up for the Backstreet Boys, and your group was kind of struggling, right? So we have Taquita, who Laurieann is like getting on real hard. Then you
Yes.
guys get on the clothes. You guys come to practice and see the other group has got this all white gold theme going on, and y'all are like, dang, we don't look like them. And even when you guys get to dress rehearsal, it seems like the other group has pulled it together and they're doing well. And Doc and Laurieann pull y'all to the side and it's like, listen, I don't know what y'all gonna do, but y'all need to pull it together before y'all get out here on this stage.
Yeah.
In perfect reality TV fashion, the other group bombs because,
Yes.
according to them, Dana started on the wrong note, which messed up the whole group. Which, honestly, you know what? I mean, even though Dana kind of set herself up for that because she was such a dictator, at least that's how it seemed watching the edit on the show. If y'all are really singers and y'all sing a cappella, it really didn't matter what Dana. I mean, it mattered, but it really should not have mattered what note Dana started on. Y'all was supposed to fix that as singers. You know, I studied music at Morehouse. You just fixed it, and we'll talk about this later once we're done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll cuss you out later, like, bitch, you started sharp, you started flat, but we'll figure it out. But your group comes through. My favorite moment.
Now that is posted on my Instagram. That's pinned on my Instagram.
My favorite moment is Dominique comes sweating when the getting on the floor. I was heading for the door, but you made so
Had to know, working with out there. Yo, writing. We were in the studio. Let me just say it was such an interesting thing. And again, you never know what they are behind the scenes thinking and talking because we felt like we got the better song from the beginning. We were working with this writer named Adonis. I think he's been the biggest celebrities he's written for, based out of Atlanta. He was tremendous. We had such a good time in the studio. And I think ultimately we were like, hold on, we have the better song. Like it's about to be. And so when they were coming down so hard on us, I think we did not see ourselves as struggling as much as they were coming down on us. You know, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't look at the other group and feel like they about to kill us. I never felt like that. And all right, let's talk about who was in which group, right? You had a bunch of people in that group who were not singers. And so that for me, again, remember, I'm on this show because I'm a singer. I'm in the group with Dawn. Who sings down. I'm good. In my mind, I'm like, I know I have a good voice. I had a good part on the song. I was like, okay. Taquita's voice is crazy. Yeah, she be doing a lot, but Taquita's voice is tremendous.
Wanita can sing. Wanita can sing.
Wanita can sing. And so that's I'm in the group where
better group, really. Andrea, y'all had Andrea.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. The thing is, we had the band take out me and take out Taquita.
The band was there.
Okay. Bring Aubrey over. And you really got the band. So that's like, it was, I just feel like we were like, okay, like, are we that bad? Because we feel like we got a good song. I think we felt good about it. And then we killed it. I really feel like, we really, to get up there, tens of thousands of people, like that was an insane moment. And I just remember us having our little, like, well, I can take it, so crazy, you're making me feel. We just like, we hit it. That was a really, really fun moment in the show, getting that experience. It was very nerve-wracking. It was a real thing where you got the things in your ears and you gotta, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. And I never liked their song. No shade to whoever wrote it, but I just was like, maybe I've been looking for a man. I was like, no, I'm okay. I'm glad we got the, we had a really good song. Yeah.
Two things. I watched the series 1,000 times. I love how at the end, I don't know if Andrea did this on purpose. I don't know if she was just in it, But Andrea on y'all's hands up, she was actually off from the rest of y'all.
Yeah.
She
That
threw
was
her
an
hand.
accident.
She threw her hand up first, like, and then when y'all went up, she went down.
She came down. Yeah, that was an accident. That was an accident.
Mama was feeling it though. Mama was in it. Mama was in it.
And I think ultimately that's what I mean about why we won. Like we went up there, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfect, but everybody was giving their all and really feeling it, and not as, I think there was this air about some of the members of the other group, like we're making the band. And so like when we were like, let's get out there and get it. And we did. It was a good time.
Did the other group really get booed?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dang. Were they really that bad?
I'm gonna give them credit and say, if you think about the two songs, that they weren't set up for success. Our song was fast. We had the high notes. They had that when we make love. Nah. It was a mid-tempo. It's the Backstreet Boys. Like, I'll give them the credit to say, I don't feel like that was a song that you open up for the Backstreet Boys with. And so I also don't feel like they had the best singers in their group, if I'm keeping it real. But the song was not, they weren't set up for success.
I didn't add her to my roll call, and this, guys watching this, I'm not being shady, but we just talking about the group not having the best singers. Let's talk about real quick how Jasmine, who was like a big thing now, I believe she's like an actress on a television show. Yeah. Let's talk about how Jasmine made it through the entire competition all the way to the end, and we found out in the end she can't harmonize nor really sing like that.
First of all, I think that some of that was editing. I thought she had a really good voice. She struggled with harmony. She struggled with harmony. She had a good voice, and she was fucking gorgeous. Gorgeous. There's certain
gorgeous.
Things, yes, I mean, she's alive and well and doing very well in her life. You got to realize that making a group isn't all about, as you could see, because I didn't make the group and I'm pretty damn talented. It ain't all about what you can do with your voice. I mean, like, Shannon was in the group. Like, Shannon had a good voice. Hold on now, because the things, the one bit gets cut. Listen, what I'm saying is Shannon had a good voice.
Shannon had an okay voice.
Play her. Yes, there you go. Let's keep
Shannon
it
had
real.
An okay voice.
Shannon had an okay voice. She could hold her own. She's going to do her harmony, right? You got to have different players in the game. And so in my mind, Jasmine didn't have to be the best singer if she was going to be in the group. She was drop dead gorgeous, and people want to see drop dead gorgeous girls in the group, right? So I didn't think it was a crazy thing. I didn't think it didn't make sense that she made it as far as she did. And sweet as pie. I loved her. She was great.
Shannon's voice now is a whole lot better. Shannon, I've heard some of her music with Aubrey when they had the group Dumb Blonde. She's really good, and I actually got into the DK3 album that they did, that the girls got back together and did, and Shannon was singing. Shannon was singing.
I love it. And it's interesting because when we did the show, she was just so in her shell that I don't know if it was there then. She was like I think she was an NFL dancer or cheerleader.
Cheerleader, yeah.
Right?
Dancer.
NFL dancer or cheerleader. She was like married. I don't know if she had children all the way back then, but she was married. Like, she was a little more on the mature side at that time. So I don't know if she just felt like, look, I'm here to do my part and not necessarily trying to outdo, if that makes sense. Maybe she's like, I know what role I'm trying to play here, and I'm trying to get it and it worked.
And it worked.
I ain't gonna hate. It worked.
It worked.
Super.
You guys get sent home. You guys come back. How was it seeing Naomi Campbell?
Oh, she was so sweet. I feel like you hear all these crazy things about people sitting in your living room growing up. She was so nice. She treated us really, really well. It was a short-lived, very brief interaction, but she was just very nice to us, very encouraging. It was a little bit of a breath of fresh air when we interacted with her, because so much of the other stuff is get it together, do. And she just came in and was like, you've got this, you're so great, you're so beautiful. And like, you girls are amazing. And you know, she was really nice. She was really nice to us.
I wonder if her and Diddy was dating around that time.
Baby,
I wonder.
I don't know. I feel like they pitched themselves like brother sister at that time. I feel like
Oh, okay.
I feel like the way she came is like, Diddy's my brother. Like we're like so close and we're really good friends, and you know that. So I feel like that was the image that they were kind of pushing in the moment where we met her, was like, this is like my sister. Like I'm calling my people, my close people, to come and evaluate y'all, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're at the end, right?
Okay.
It's the final, what, 11 of you guys? It was
Mhm.
11 of you guys. The group is getting formed. Diddy is basically like sending you guys through like this, like, I would say like a mini little boot camp. Like he got y'all taking pictures. He got y'all styled up. He got y'all in makeup. He got y'all in the studios. You sing this part. You sing this part. I really wanted to hear your version of that song that you were singing.
Dang, I don't even remember what song it was now.
I just remember you saying weak. Weak. I remember you ended on weak.
Tell me. Oh, that was it's something I'm feeling weak. That ended up being on his album.
It did.
Him and Christina Aguilera. Christina Aguilera did that.
And that has a whole music video to it, right?
Yes, they did. I don't remember the like hook. I'm doing my Diddy shoulders, but they had a video and everything. Yeah, Christina killed that joint. Yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah. And then he has you guys dancing. He's switching y'all out. Did you think you had made the band? And did you guys amongst yourselves did you guys speak about who potential you guys thought were getting in the band? Like, she is for sure getting in the band.
Aubrey, yes. I just knew, again, Aubrey, from my perspective, was very strategic in the way that she moved on the show, you know, and I think it felt to a lot of people like she was a Diddy favorite. Like, you know, like this girl has whatever it is, whether it's drama, you know, I never thought she was an amazing singer. I think she has a decent voice. And so there was just this it factor that I feel like Diddy saw in her. I think people felt pretty confident that Aubrey was going to be in the group. You know, did I want to get picked? Absolutely. Especially when we won that competition. In my mind, it was me, Taquita, Wanita, Dawn, and Andrea. And am I missing somebody? No, I think it was just the 5 of us.
No,
we knew it was gonna 6.
Yeah.
Did we have Shannon? Maybe we had Shannon.
I think I had Shannon. Mm-hmm.
We had Shannon. So yeah, in my mind, as talented as she was, I didn't think Taquita was gonna make it because her voice was just so big, and she was not a rule follower, and that seemed to really bother Laurieann on a bigger, like, you know, if she like stop flailing your arms and Taquita want to flail her arms, she gonna flail her arms, like. And so I had my, you know, obviously in my mind, I'm making the band, right? I think that I was teetering because I felt like I kept hearing so much about my voice. I did have this like, are they gonna put me in this band, or are they gonna make me a soloist? I did think about that. So when I didn't hear my name and then I went home, I was like, oh, well, I guess. And then he called and was like, don't leave town. We need to meet. But yeah, I was kind of like, I felt like the group who won opening up for Backstreet was kind of gonna be the group, if you think about it, because in that group, I didn't have to be a great dancer. In a group with Andrea, Dawn, Wanita, there was enough there. There was enough diversity in my mind that could have been the group. And so I think what I thought was going to happen, I did not see Shannon making the band. I ain't gonna lie. That was a sleeper for me. So I think I felt in my mind that Taquita would be out and Aubrey, I didn't fully believe always that Aubrey would be in the band. So in my mind, Aubrey's coming over, maybe Shannon's out. if I'm including myself, like when I had to do my own math in hopes of me joining the band, that probably would have been my band.
So y'all always, so it sounds like everybody always thought Aubrey was going to be in the group, which based off the show, like Aubrey's off doing her own photo shoots. Like Aubrey's doing her
Yeah.
thing.
It was just like, come on.
Yeah, Aubrey, it seemed like Aubrey was always a shoe-in to be in the group. Even though they tried to do this like thing with is Andrea like falling off. Like I feel like they just did that for a little drama to give like a little story.
I thought so too.
Yeah. I feel like Andrea, the group needed Andrea. If the group needed Aubrey, the group needed Andrea. Like I feel like you needed them both.
Yeah, their dynamic together, I think, was a factor, right? Like how close they were, and there's a little bit of, I don't know if you want to call it codependence, but like I think it made sense that the two of them would be in a group together.
It seemed like they always liked Dawn. Like Diddy always really liked Dawn. You don't think so?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like they always liked Dawn.
She's just so talented. I mean, like, and drama free, right? Dawn was also, she didn't bring no mess. If you look back on our season, at least, I didn't watch before or after me, but if you look back, I mean, Dawn was a easy winner in my mind because Dawn didn't bring no drama, and she got all the talent, the moves, and the singing. That for me was a short shot.
What did y'all feel like Wanita was gonna make it?
I didn't know. I didn't know. I don't want to act like I had a for sure. Gotcha. Wanita. Yeah. She's talented. She's very talented. And I think especially as a dancer, she holds her own as a singer. She sings well.
She sings well. Very pretty.
She sings well. Yes.
Very pretty.
But you know, like the singer versus singer thing, like that, she could, in my mind, she could be in a group and harmonize and have the notes, and she sings very well. So I don't think it ever was felt like a guarantee that Wanita would be in the group. Yeah.
How did you feel that day you guys are on this big stage with these people in the audience and your name doesn't get called? What did you feel?
Full disappointment. You work your way up to it, and you start off not even wanting to be a part of this thing, but then you're in it, and you're seeing these people you care about get eliminated, and you're in the competition, and now I'm busting my ass. I'm actually working to improve my craft every single week. I'm trying to get better at the dance. So when you've now put in all this work, of course you want the yield. Of course you want the result. And so I was very salty. I'm a human. I was salty as hell because I looked so damn cute with that. Woo! Alex did me up. That little olive green. He had me feeling like $1 million, okay? And so yeah, that was tough. It was very, 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 very tough. Yeah.
I do want to know this. So when the girls make it, they sing, right? And they do like a performance with like choreo, and they know the parts. How did they know which parts to sing if they didn't know who was getting in the band?
I don't remember what they sang. I think it was something we all practiced.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was something we all practiced. Whatever the last song was, we had all practiced it. We all had some kind of part, so that you could be prepared to get up and go.
Just as a little fun, my mind goes a little creative, this Aquarius brain of mine. I was like, okay, if they had offered Dominique a solo deal, I think forward to when they did Day 26, and Donnie Klain didn't make the group, but they offered him a solo deal. And Donnie Klain actually continued on to the next season as the boys and the girls then came to get ready. I said, I wonder if in some alternate universe, if Dominique would have taken that solo deal from Diddy, would she have been included in that following season with the girls as they were getting ready? And she was getting ready as they did with Donnie when he got a solo deal and he returned back to the show, and they were also documenting him getting his life together. I don't know. That's just, a little fun just to think about.
But it's not a crazy idea. I mean, you got to understand, for all that Diddy is, he ain't stupid. And I think that
You were a fan fave.
I think you said it, not me,
No, you were. You were a
but
fan
it was,
fave. You're
it was pretty.
and give me 1 second. Hold on. I'm gonna give you your props. You were a big talent on the show, and the show really relied on you a whole lot when it came to the story. We got introduced to your story episode 1, and Dominique's story was present in every episode
It's fair to
until
say,
the end.
yeah,
We didn't see too
and
much about Wanita. We didn't see too much about Shannon. We didn't see too much about Dawn. It
that's
was
real.
you. It was Taquita. It was
Yep,
Danash. It was
yep,
Aubrey and Andrea that was really driving the narrative. Early on, Malika, the Tiffany situation. That's great
yep,
TV. Cindy had her moment. But
yep.
y'all was really driving the narrative of the story and really giving the show heart and meaning and seeing
Yes,
people like rise,
yes.
fall, struggle, have these ins and outs.
Wow, I appreciate you saying this because
Yeah,
it's true.
yeah,
It's
it's
really, really
true.
true. And so I can't imagine that if I would have signed that deal, that he would not have capitalized on America wanting to continue to see me.
Taquita got a show.
I walked away.
You walked away.
And I don't think Daquita got a show on the strength of Diddy. I think that MTV thought
MTV
that
liked her. Yeah.
I think they thought that those two were just a damn riot because they
Mm-hmm.
were. And especially, I think there was race relations in there, black girl, white girl running around Vegas being crazy trying to get these deals. I think they thought it was going to work.
Mm-hmm.
But I would imagine that if I would have signed that deal, that Diddy would have made sense for me to be on the show. You know how many people have said, y'all need a reunion show. Y'all need where are they now? Y'all need and people were mad. They didn't make a DVD of that season. People were pissed about that
Oh
because they
wow.
had done a DVD of previous seasons. Like the band with
Mm-hmm.
chopping, they had made a DVD, and I think when Making the Band 3 started, so even the season right before mine with Malika and those other girls, there was no DVD, and people were pissed. Our season was very, very popular.
It was.
Our season was right up there with the band. Like we
Mm-hmm.
really, really, garnered a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm. Another food for thought. Just very random thinking. I was like, could there have been an R&B group that consisted of Dominique, Taquita, Danash, and Jasmine?
That reaction is crazy. I think I never thought about it, but I think anything's possible. I really did. I'd so be interested in what people have to say about me, what their experience was. I had a really good experience with a lot of girls on that show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really only didn't get along with Aubrey. I mean, we weren't like fighting. We weren't, it ain't what you're seeing on TV now, but we just really didn't rock. And for the most part, most of the other women on the show, sweet as pie. Even Danash, again, I think that Danash ended up getting the villain, kind of reputation really for editing purposes. She's a little
Mm-hmm.
pushy, but not the way they made it seem. And so
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed those women a lot. And I kept in touch with Taquita, Amber, Dawn for a little while. Jasmine and I, stayed in touch for a little while. We like became Facebook friends and we'll talk through there every once in a while. Those were really the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
The ones who I was like, nah, I really rocked with them.
Dominique, we're at the end, girl. This has been amazing. To send us off, you've already talked about it so beautifully, your post life and what you went through in the industry and the decisions you made. But let's update the people on where you are now in 2024.
Wow. In 2024, I am I'm a founder and a school principal. I opened a school in 2021 in the middle of a pandemic for an organization I've been a part of since I was a little girl. So KIP is a public charter
I
organization.
know about Kip.
Yeah, and I actually was one of the first graduates of KIP when KIP first started in the 90s, and I have had the honor of being the first alum in KIP's history to found a KIPP school.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like 30 years in the making, you know. And so I've been in education for 15 years. I graduated college. I worked in marketing for a couple years. And man, I had a little run where I was doing a lot of live performances in DC. Oh, I love the DMV. Trying to move back there. And I would get back on stage if I moved back to DC. I would get back on stage because oh, anyway. So worked in marketing for a couple years, then got into education, teaching and then leading and now founding. 15 years. Woo! 15 years I've been doing this and
Oh wow, congratulations.
yeah, 15 years, and I'm just so grateful like to really have founded a school. My school, our first location, because we just moved into our permanent building, was not even a 10-minute drive from literally High Bridge from where I grew up in the Bronx. And that right there
Mhm.
was a dream realized. I mean, opening a school in my hometown, serving my people, like, come on. The dream, the dream. Now, don't get it twisted. Being a principal is not for the faint of heart.
You a
It
busy
is,
lady.
baby. I am married to a beautiful man named Juan,
I love
and
that.
we have been, gosh, we've been together I think 12 years and married for going on 8, and we have 2 ridiculously beautiful, brilliant, and rambunctious twin girls named Nola and Naila, who just light up our lives. I,
I
I don't
love
even
that.
ain't it ain't a lazy day around my house. It's not a day where it's not some wild stuff going on. Yeah, man, life is good. Life is good, and um, I really have no regrets. I mean that,
I
and I
could
know
tell. I
that
could see all over your skin, girl.
like I
No, I'm
just
just saying.
everything is meant to happen for a reason. I'm so grateful for every experience I had, because it all contributed to who's in front of you right now. All of the
Mhm.
things, the music, the industry experience, the making a band, the everything contributed to who I am right now. But man, am I glad that I'm where I am right now. I'm very, very, very grateful.
If you were in front of Diddy right now, what would you say?
Oh, wow. That is such a good question, man. One I didn't even think about. I would say 2 things. I mean, if I could give him advice, and I mean, I don't know that he's deserving of advice or that he would give a fuck about my advice, but like, bro, just own it. Like, there's a, I want people to be able to sleep at night. I want people to, and
Mm.
him, like, like, there's a part of me that's like, when I think about this man having 4 daughters, my gosh, like, I don't know. I agree with you about justice. Like justice is one of the values in my heart that means so much to me. I'm the justice girl. I was the one fighting the bullies in middle school, and I'm the advocate, self-proclaimed advocate for people who ain't even asking for it. So yes, I believe justice needs to be served. But if I'm looking Diddy in his eyes and I'm the person who's guiding him, dog, you got enough money to own your stuff. He ain't going to jail. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but the truth of the matter is, when you think about the types of allegations and the statute of limitations and how much the world fucking hates women and queer people, ain't nobody come ain't nobody coming for that man. Look how long it took to get R. Kelly. Like, come on. And that's very sad to say as a woman, but it's just true. So it's like, repent.
I'm
I
sorry to
mean,
laugh.
but I mean that. I
Oh,
know
you
I
sound
said
like
so
you sound.
dramatic. I was giving a little Tyler Perry there. Call me Tyler. But I'm just saying, I just think, like, get your soul right. Go in the right way. I just, as a mother, I keep thinking about his children. That's what I keep thinking about. And
They
who
have to
knows
see
behind,
this.
right? Who knows behind the scenes what he's owning with his family and da 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 da. You know, but in some place in his life, there's gotta be. I understand the public image and the lawyer. These allegations are false, and da-da-da. I understand that stuff, right? But man, I just hope that he's getting right for his own soul. Like, you know what I mean? That's the first thing I would talk to him about. And the second thing is like, excuse me, can we get the reunion? Can we get the where are they now? The people want to know. The people still want to know what happened to the girls for making the band. So give the people what they want.
And until
But
then,
also,
you know, just come check out the two exclusives because baby, we gonna
come
chop it
on
up and serve
now.
it up. You know what I'm
Let's get
saying?
it. Let's get it and let's go viral. Okay, let's get it and
Yes.
let's go viral. Yeah.
Before we go, Dominique, I got one more request. You can say, Oliver, I'm giving you enough. I'm tired.
Okay.
I
It's getting
love your
late.
New York accent, by the way. I love your New York accent, by the way. Dare I ask you, can you send us off with
No.
just a little melody from heaven? Can you just rain down
Um,
on us for a little bit?
you know what? Why don't we continue to give Lil Mo her flowers?
Let's give them more hope. Now, I love that.
Let me think. Okay, because I love me some Mo. Eh, I can't never get that first note right. Baby, I'm at the point in my life when I'm tired of playing games. I'm ready to settle down. I'm ready to buy a house, and I'm ready to change my last name. Ready to have some kids. Ready for the life to live and all it has to give. I've been your superwoman for so long. I'm ready to be your wife, little M.O.
Hey! Dominique, I want to thank you so much from the pit of my soul for agreeing to do this with me and allowing me to share this time and space with you. I am leaving so energized right now. You have fed my soul, and I'm pretty sure the people who take the time to watch this are leaving full as well. I
Oh
am
my gosh.
so it's such an honor and privilege to share this time with you, to see the beauty and the glow that is emitting from you so
Mm.
genuinely. And I'm just so slightly jealous of all the people in your life that get to see you every day, like the kids at Kip and all the other stuff. Like, you guys get to see Dominique every day. Do y'all know what y'all got here? But I'm grateful for you sharing this space with me, and I'm just so proud of you of all the things that you've been able to accomplish and achieve, and just where you are in life. That, like, and I hate to say it like this, but I'm gonna say it, amongst all the shit going on with making the band and all the other stuff, people like Dominique still to this day are doing well and are
Mm-hmm.
happy and are in a
Mm-hmm.
great place that they are proud of. And I wish you nothing but continued success. And as you're embarking on finding out what you want to do, this storyteller thing, whether you want to sing live again,
Mm-hmm.
I just know it's going to be beautiful just based off the beauty I was able to see talking to you tonight. Like, this was so
Mm.
amazing. And thank you so much.
Wow, that was a lot. That was so beautifully said. And I continue to use the word gratitude because I have a lot of gratitude. I'm honored that you thought of me for this. I love storytelling. I love storytelling. And so I'm grateful to be able to come on here and share parts of my story in the hopes that it will touch somebody, and have a positive impact on them. I have one question for you and one thing to say to you. How did you find me? What made you reach out to me?
So, a part of my ministry in doing these two exclusives, of course, it's talking about reality TV, which is messy and it has all this messiness going on. And I love reality TV. Reality TV is in my heart. I grew up on it. And a lot of the reality TV that I watched really influenced what people see today.
Mm.
Watching Top Model, getting into the creative, seeing queer people of color on TV, being flamboyant
Oh
and
my
eccentric and
gosh.
living in their truth. Watching people on American Idol, Black kids that looked like me, that sounded like me, getting on this big stage with 30 million people watching them, and they're singing these songs that I know that I grew up listening to. Seeing people like Dominique and Dawn and Wanita on Making the Band in front of Diddy, who are just have these raw talents and they're making it. And I'm like, well, I can sing, I can do this. I'm looking at these people I see on TV gaining inspiration. And so now that I'm in a place where I'm now Oliver Twixt, who has
Yeah.
this YouTube channel and people like to hear me talk about reality TV and interview, I really want to make it, I've made it my mission to talk to these people who have inspired me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And really just share this space, and not only in telling you guys thank you, but with whatever platform or power reach I have, giving you guys that extra set of flowers that I really do believe you guys deserve due to how you have impacted my life. And in knowing
Mhm.
that, I'm sure you have impacted so many people, which by the success of my interviews, that's a thing. And people are always so happy to see you guys.
Yeah.
So that's why I reached out to you. And you know, I love the show, I love the girls, but I do have a Dominique story where
Yeah.
Dominique did this on this show, and me as a child saw that, and I did this here when I sang that song in church, you know?
Yeah.
And so when I started talking about Making the Band, of all the people I wanted to talk to, I had to talk to Dominique. Like, so I looked for you. I was like, girl, what Dominique at? Let me see how I can find her. I don't know exactly how I found you. I know typically
Yeah.
what I do is I type in the name in the show and I'll put Instagram behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
not sure if that's what made it pop up.
I love
I'm
it.
almost confident that is what made it pop up, or maybe I saw it on a forum, because you know the people, they be finding y'all and they be like, oh no, they're, you know, there's people out there that be watching y'all and that be putting y'all things like in little Reddit forums. So maybe it was that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I just want to say to you, you shining. Like, you know, you got to do your research. You know, I went to your YouTube page and I looked on your Instagram, and it, I keep, as I was doing those things, I was thinking about when I founded my school and how much I believed that I needed a staff that was predominantly Black and Brown and predominantly from the Bronx, right? Because I believe if we, just the community we serving, these kids we serving, they need to see what they want to be. And it just keeps it like thinking about you and how you are standing in your power and standing in your truth, and standing in your freedom in the world of hate that we live in. I'm thinking about just little yous and me's watching you on YouTube the same way you were watching me on TV. And we just need more of that in a world where people are trying to literally eradicate us. It is important for us to protest in this manner by continuing
I love it.
to live and live freely and live loudly. And so I heard you talking about like what's next for me. You already right here. And so what's next for you is going to be times 10. But like if you just keep on the path that you're on and doing what you're doing, the what's next is going to fall right into your lap. You're already spiritual, you already got it. Like I just, you're so brave. I think about the things I want to do. I think about storytelling, how much I love it, and how I know that that's a part of what's next in my life. And I do love my life, but there's a safety in the career that I have. I work in education, I got good benefits, I got a great salary, and I don't regret any of that. We've talked about how great my life is, but I want to get back to dreaming because that's important. And I feel like what you are doing now is a manifestation of dreaming. And I just hope that you don't stop because it's really, really important. So
Oh,
I'm
thank
so
you
I'm
so
real. I mean it.
much.
I mean it. I mean it. I'm so glad that I met you. I hope we can stay in touch, you know, outside of this. I'm really looking forward to, you know, seeing how this interview turns out. I'm proud of what we talked about and shared today. Like I'm happy and excited to show my family and my friends and like you the man. You just gotta keep doing this because it's lit.
Dominique, Now you can make me cry. I
I'm
love
not even
you.
trying to.
And I
I'm just,
thank you. I know you're not, and I
I'm keeping it
receive
real
it.
with you.
I receive it, and
Yeah.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm
Yeah.
grateful. I just have nothing but gratitude. And um, you inspire, like you said, you inspiring me. Girl, I've never even thought about what the heck I'm doing over here and how it can affect somebody.
Mhm.
But people just doing what they love and being true and authentic and letting that goodness on the inside resonate. You see how it passes down. You see how you're able to teach, and you see how it comes back to you.
Oh
It
my
comes
goodness.
back to you.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, I'm grateful for this moment. This is magical. I'm gonna let you
Yeah.
go. I'm gonna let
Yes,
you
because
go.
baby, I done missed dinner and bedtime. Okay.
And I'm hungry. I'm hungry too
Hold
myself.
on,
I'm
dinner. I'm
like,
about to go get me something to eat. Anyway, have a great
yes.
night. We will talk soon.
We'll talk soon, guys. Say
Peace.
goodbye to Dominique after she gives us, after she has given us. Let me say that one more time, guys. Let's say goodbye to Dominique after she has given us an iconic to exclusive on Making the Band 3 Season 2. Dominique, thank you again,
Peace, y'all.
guys. That was so amazing. Listen, if you enjoyed this chat, be sure, first of all, to follow Dominique. Get down in the description box and click the link to follow Dominique. I have her information below. You guys be sure to like, comment, subscribe, as well as share this magic we have going on over here with these two exclusives on my channel. I love you guys so much. I love God for blessing me, blessing what I do over here, and that we just continue to grow and have magical moments like this. I love you guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for supporting me and engaging my content. It really means the world to me. I have nothing else to say, child, because it's all been said, and I'm finna take my black ass to bed. I love you guys. Until next time, be sure to parade, Eagle. Good night.